I guess I'll just start. uh, so this is going to be like a run of lightning returns, but it's going to be, I'm not going to time it because I'm going to be intentionally slow in order to detail what I'm doing. The hope being that whoever wants to learn this game could use this video as a reference. There are several, well, I know of at least one source of notes out there. I'll have those open. They're Essentia 4's notes. Actually, I should probably put this in the video description. Actually, I could even just put this here. Let's see. Let's see. Oop. Alright, I think that will be fine. It's not something that you can easily click and paste, but I don't know. It's not my notes, but they're what I've sent to people to learn off of. Anyway, hello there, Dans, and hello there, Coopalicious. But yeah, this is not going to be a run of the game. I mean, I will run through the route. I won't time it, and it won't be a speed run, but it will be a tutorial. So timing normally starts from system on, and you would mash buttons to get into the game, and then to select new game. I'm not going to do that because you know what that would entail. I don't need to explain that, but that's the convention for timing. Is it starts from console on. And you would just mash buttons to get to these screens. It's actually a Japanese custom to start from console on. But most of the people who have ran this game so far are Japanese or played on the Japanese version, so that's why it's done that way. You'd select new game, normal mode, and yes, you want to continue. And then here you mash buttons to make a save. I mean, this is sort of intuitive. So you would mash buttons to get through this dialogue, but you do not want to enable connections with outer world outer world services because that's not part of the description. I believe there are 2 cutscene skips. I hope I don't need to explain how to cutscene skip, and I hope I don't need to explain when to cutscene skip. I'm going to try to emphasize, you know, strategies over like the rigor of everything. But then you get to your first fight, and it's the schemata tutorial, meaning it's an easier fight than normal. We are going to stagger Anubis before we attack, and the way to stagger him, we're going to do 1 thunder in Savior. We're going to do 3 blizzards, I think, in whatever the other one is. I think it's Mist Wizard, and then 5 thunders in Savior. The last thunder will be a backflip, and you guard cancel the backflip by holding guard, which I'll try to show to you. I'm saying this now because I'll be chaining all of these attacks and staggering pretty quickly. So, skip, thunder, blizzard, 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 thunder, 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 backflip, stagger. So try to get good on your perfect timings of the abilities, which I was failing to do as I was trying to comment, but whenever you hear a chime, that's a perfect time attack and it does more damage. So yeah, so now that he's staggered, you'll do attacks. And my current garb is out of ATB, so shift to the second garb. You have like 4 attacks there, you'll do like some there, but yeah. I mean, you should at least have some level of familiarity with the battle system, I hope, that you're not just jumping in. But hold on a second. All right, so when you beat a battle, you would normally have a close-up of Lightning looking at her chest. You can press X to skip that, and then mash X to get through the results screen. Sometimes I'll detail when you should pay attention to item drops, but in the tutorial section there are no item drops. So, or like the only item drops are the ones the enemies always drop, which are like their unique abilities. You can change the camera to whatever you want. I leave it on standard because that's what I'm used to, but you can set it however you need to. We need to fight 2 Niblets and an Anubis. The Anubis will have a different strat than the one we just fought, and the 2 Niblets you'll kill with spells, similar to how I did in the first fight.
Damn, I'm trapped.
So, run up, attack 1, Thunder, 3 Blizzards, or no, actually no, never mind. 1 Blizzard was enough. You'll kill with spells, because he's weak. And I might even have magic boosts, thanks to RNG. Your abilities have a chance of having a boost associated with it, and I think I have like stronger magic on my savior garb. This fight plays differently. You need to perfect guard his sword attack. So this is the time to learn how a perfect guard works. Right when he's about to hit you, guard, and you'll stagger him. And guard cancel. I mean, he has unshelled, but it's still faster to do attacks, I think. It does less ATB and more damage, so. And then the Niblet will die easily as well. I mean, Niblets are weaker to magic than strength, so you'll want to use spells for them. After you kill them, cutscene skip, and then we're gonna run through here. Jump over that if you want, or around, and then this, if you can do it, jump over there slightly faster and cutscene skip as soon as you can. Don't fill up on potions here, even though they're free, because you'll have to pick up items in the Ark. You can afford 2 potions though. The other 2 slots will be filled with Warriors potions once we're in the Ark.
I just spotted snow.
And then we're gonna run. Most of this run is running. Go figure that a speedrun would be filled with copious amounts of running. You have to be careful not to get hit, and this is actually the one section where like a Niblet would munch on you. Getting hit is particularly slow because you don't have the escape ability yet, so you would have to do the fight. And the first fight will give you a tutorial on switching targets, which is slow. Like, at least maybe the first spawn I just ran past. I'm not sure about like that one because that was a lone Niblet, but if you don't know what I mean by switching targets, you can press the left button or the right button on the D-pad to switch your target in battle. But, you know, presumably you've played enough Lightning Returns to know what's going on. Oh yeah, and because of the thing with the sprint bar, don't run out of sprint, because it recharges slower if you exhaust it all versus releasing it early. Hey, I got caught. Cool. So if you get caught, just fight however you need to. Like Niblets again are easy to kill. You'll probably be hit by a Niblet because the Niblets have an annoying hitbox. Anubis can't hit you until they finish their longsword animation. Alright, so you run into here, and it's Azaltis. So you'll have to stagger the Zaltis. This is the overclock tutorial, so we'll be doing 2 overclocks here. Because you will get a recharge of EP once you get to the Ark anyway, so you might as well use it. But first we're going to stagger it, and we're going to stagger it similarly to the first Anubis fight. 1 Thunder, 3 Blizzards, and then Thunders until stagger. thunder, blizzard, 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 thunder, 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 thunder. Backflip, stagger, guard cancel, attack, attack, overclocks, and now we'll attack spam. Again with perfect guards. Or guard canceling backflips, or ready animations or whatnot. Dark Muse, I guess that's just fair. I mean, I guess it's the Mist Wizard nicknamed Dark Muse. Dark Muse has a higher attack than the Savior, so you'll want to use that for most of your damage. But 2 overclocks and he'll die. So hello all.
Listen, Hope, I need more info. Can you
I haven't
analyze
noticed
this
any
chaos
questions
matter
yet.
for me?
Is it better to be conservative and make sure you stop running before you run out of energy or risk it? So, like, the thing is that, like, whenever I try to perfectly run out of energy before I let go, like, I always end up holding it a hair too late and I get that thing. So I always kind of play it safe, and I only dash until I'm just north of it, but not even, like, I don't spend all of it. I'm not sure whether, like, it's faster to let it recharge entirely before you start dashing, or if you could just, like, keep dashing, releasing, releasing, dashing, you know, whatever. Or if it's faster to just hold it for like 5 straight seconds. But yeah, feel free to ask me questions as we go along, and I'll try to answer them, unless it's, can you do that fight again? Not related to speedrunning, but the time limit in this game is really lax. I mean, it's strict in that once you run out of time, the game's over, but it's lax in that it gives you lots of time. And once you do a main quest, you get another day, so it's not like if you have 1 day left to do 3 main quests, you can't do them all. This segment is simply just pick up the items, skip the tutorial, examine the bookcase, escape from Xaltis,
there's something I want to tell
talk
you.
to Hope, buy
Something I
things.
think you have to hear.
That's all I'm doing now.
It'll take some explaining, so when you have the time, come and talk to me.
I guess it's faster to go counterclockwise because you get closer to the bookcase. That's the reason there. I have speedrun this, and my time I think is either 2:38 or 2:39. You can see it in my info somewhere. Yeah, so when you pick up the last item, you get thrust into the menu, skip the tutorial. It doesn't matter, like, your third garb will already be set up with, well, I guess it just has thunder on it. But you'll just skip out of it like you're not doing anything in that menu. Lure Dolphin or Ludus Dolphin? Yeah, mash to get through that bookcase animation. Examine the bookcase, shut up Hope. Examine Xaltis, see these results. Fight again, begin battle. And then skip the tutorial on how to use EP. Because we're going to use EP after we skip the tutorial, so it doesn't matter. So you hit pause and then go over to escape. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm being too
I've got something
dumb here.
important.
Or too, what's the word? Anyway, talk to Hope and then skip his dialogue. And then you'll have to talk to him again because the game hates you. You skip that, and then this is not really skippable. But you could mash X and skip his dialogue. But we have to talk to him again. Don't run to the thing just yet because we have to talk to him. The nice thing about Lightning Returns is you can skip almost everything in the game. So once you talk to Hope, you can cutscene skip and go replenish items. We are going to buy 2 Warriors Potions. They don't have uses yet, but they will later. So you have to go examine the bookcase to fight Xaltis in order to see the EP tutorial. It's required in order to unlock the device. You also need to talk to Hope at some point, but all of those are necessary. But once you've done all that, you can examine this. Cutscene skip eventually. Return to Nova Chrysalis and then return.
It's the capital of the world, or what's left of it anyway. I'll place you in.
Oh yeah, and this is, I don't know what I was doing. I mean, I think it is, unless I'm mistaken. It's what I've done in every run and no one's yelled at me. I mean, I think I even tried not examining it, but I don't know. To be clear, I'm not like as expert with this game as I am with 13 and 13.2. You can cutscene skip once the camera starts or has faded down to the staircase, or not faded, moved down. I don't know what's the right proper video term for this. Just we're trying to derail the tutorial as much as possible. You have to accept the quest. That's the only button there. There's no cancel button, but you have to push the button to officially start it. So the most efficient route, or at least my route through this, which might not be the most efficient, immediately run over and examine the shiny on the ground. It's not skippable. You have to mash X and you'll obtain valuable information. Turn around and examine Thornton. That's his name. Skip his dialogue, but accept his quest, and then you can skip this quest activated animation, mash through the side quests. Run over to the innkeeper and talk to him to obtain his information. And now, well, I can do this. So here's what's going to happen now when I'm escorting Holmes. The dialogue here says he's terrified and will run away. Tilt this gently to walk. So, of course, what we're going to do is dash over to Outfitters, talk to him, get the information, and then dash over to Holmes. You can see how lightly I'm holding the control stick, or rather the lack thereof. This completes the quest, but more importantly, it gives you valuable information. And I could have skipped that. I missed it. So this warps you up here. You run over to this question mark girl, talk to her, get her information. And then you run down the staircase. So now we're back to this area. Turn left and run up that ladder. If you jump early, you can like climb to the middle of the ladder, which is faster. Talk to that guy. Pick up this item for the strength boost. Talk to that soldier. That should be everything. So now we can talk to the Inquisitor. Talk to him twice. As some people, like, I think Oot was streaming this earlier and didn't know you had to talk to him twice. Do you have to get all of these? I think there are like several additional ones that you could use instead, but those are the ones I do. I think like one is really off to the side and out of the way. Anyway, yeah, so we complete the quest. Like, we're not really doing this for any reason other than to stop the lockdown. And there's a bunch of like, here's chronostasis dialogue. Now, you would run over to the innkeeper now that we can use the inn, and sleep until midnight. Because midnight is when shit gets real.
How can anyone control time?
So, there could be a way that you could kill those guys and then go straight to the phone booth, but it would involve an overclock, I would believe, and I think it's RNG how many fights you would have to fight anyway. But yeah, I just hide up here. I'm not sure entirely like if there's a better place. That's just what I do myself. But they don't see you from up here. They normally go through the gate at about 0:30.
I sure don't like the sound of that. When they say savior, do you think
It's me, alright. It has to be. But who's the Shadow Hunter?
I don't know. Right now, no one else does either. The information's incomplete at best. But the Order thinks he could be the leader of the heretics.
So if the Shadow Hunter leads the cult, does that mean he's also behind the murders?
Alright, so when they're past that gate, you can dash up to here now. Sometimes they get stuck and they go wander to the left, but today they're being cooperative and going up those steps.
naturally desperate.
So I kind of am cautious whenever I see them, but like
Oracles do.
A price? What kind of price?
they're actually kind of blind, I think. I mean,
This world.
well, I don't know if they're entirely blind, but like you don't really need to wait that long. Like once that guy gets past that box, you can run up to this. Once that exclamation mark appears there, you can run there safely, even if they see you after that. But yeah, you mash through that. Blah blah blah, dialogue, blah blah blah. There are 3 shinies on the ground that are guaranteed to be here. Pick them all up.
Cult, the so-called children of Etrel, are behind the murders.
Gil in this run only matters for like the first
They become
hour,
increasingly
and it
disruptive
matters
the
to
city,
the
judging by the tone of their
slightest
messaging.
extent
They
in
view
that
the savior
you
as
only
their
need to
enemy.
pick up one additional
What I
shiny
don't
on the
understand is
ground
why they would
that's
target you.
not
You're here to
like
save
a
souls and guide them to a new world.
unappraised item
Why
or
would they
something,
want that?
in order to be
It's
able
not
to
that
afford
clear-cut.
all the Gil.
To some, God's savior looks as much a murderer
Um,
as these maniacs.
But we're
do.
running to the
I'm
Yusnaan
not
train
surprised
station
they're
now.
afraid.
It doesn't matter that I missed it. You have enough time anyway. But we're going to travel to Yusnaan now. And this is the first of about 20,000 loading screens. I'm really interested to see how this plays on PC because of the large number of loading screens. I wouldn't be surprised if PC cuts out even like 20 minutes in the run just because of faster loading. So, we'll talk about Imperil later, but as Lotus is alluding to, Imperil is like the thing to worry about in this run. Like, you can work on all the strats, you can work on all the fights, but it's Imperil that is the biggest decider of your battle time. Well, that and final boss, so. $69 viewers. Hey there, Oni.
It looks like the power.
So this is a bunch of skips. This is like a bunch of like downtime. That teleport animation or teleport text decompress X to skip past, but the new destination available text you can't. Just FYI. This couple wants to say something, but I don't care. Keep an eye out for shinies because they can appear anywhere. But we need to expect this poster to know about this call.
Chocobo, it's time to tell.
You would skip this in a speedrun, but
I don't have a choice, do I? Meow, meow, choco chow.
best line ever. Alright. So, keep an eye out for shinies. We're gonna make a dash over here. You're gonna pick up our damage dealing garb for the first 90% of the game, which is Velvet Bouncer for its blitz, but also strength plus 10% and strength plus 80. And that's all we're purchasing there. You'll have enough gil guaranteed, because you haven't bought anything else yet except the train ticket and an inn. So that's the second Choco Girl. And now we're gonna jump around this crate, still keeping an eye out for shinies. It can be confusing because sometimes confetti falls and it looks like a shiny, but it's not. As soon as it like starts fading, you can cutscene skip on like 13.2. But as soon as you cutscene skip, make a hard left, still keeping an eye out for shinies. And just follow the path. Ignoring everyone. There is a guy, a young boy in a yellow jacket that runs around there that will pickpocket you. So stay away from him if you see him. I'm not sure if he's out at this time, but he can appear. Once you get here, you need to run up the trees on the left side. If you're lucky, the guards won't see you. If they do see you, you can unalert them by running to this fountain area over here. But they didn't see me, so I'm actually doing well. But you want to talk to one of those guys. I guess it's the guy that looks like that and not the girl. I guess that's the only description I can give. You watched me on the day I did all 3 in a row. Yeah, so once you talk to this guy, we're now gonna run down. Is that a shiny over there? Well, if you want some irony, there's a shiny in the middle of that staircase. It would actually be dangerous to go pick that up, but we can go pick that up. We got a silvered medal, but it doesn't matter. It's more important that it was a medal, and that's my shiny. We're gonna talk to this guy in pink because I can trust him, and I can trust to give me a sneaking in special ticket for 2,000 gil. Yeah, so you do that. And then before you do anything, we're now gonna go talk to this third Choco girl to get your third set of fireworks. And then you'll pick up this item, which doesn't get used until the final fight. It's Resist Defaith. So now we are done with Yusnaan. Oops. We're going to go to EP abilities, teleport, Luxaria North Station. The EST for an any percent run of this game, the world record's like 2:30. My best time is 2:38. It depends on how long it takes you to get in peril and how long it takes you to kill final boss, and how many attempts it takes to kill final boss. That's the variance in the run. So now we're back in Yusnaan. Still keep an eye out for shinies if you haven't gotten one yet. You literally only need one. So once you have one, you don't need to worry about picking up any more. But we're going to pick up one item along the way, and that's it. We're basically running to Luxarian South Station, but we're also going to pick up a Magic Plus accessory. If we wanted to be really fast, we probably would just... Oh look, there's a shiny right there. For proof of concept, I'm not going to pick it up. But if you see a shiny and you don't have a shiny yet, you would pick it up. So you'll pick up this. It's a Magician's Token. It's magic plus 15%. Watch out for gremlins and niblets. Yeah. Gremlins and niblets are things that will appear. That's Baird. We'll talk to him later. You'll need to purchase his thing, but Gil is pretty tight right now that we won't do it. Be careful in the Chaos Zone. So we need to pick up one soul seed at some point in this run in order to turn in the Moogle fragment, I think is what it is. But you need to have one soul seed in order to even have the option of turning it in. You need to pick up a soul seed at some point, but I never do it here because I tend to get hit when I try, or they're out of the way, but I'll pick it up there. I normally just pick it up in the Yusnaan dungeon. The VOD will be on YouTube later. Well, maybe. If people want it to be on YouTube, I can stick it on YouTube. But yeah, we picked up our one item. We're now going to Luxarian South Station. And we're going to take the train to the Dead Dunes. So we're going to do... let's see. We're going here to pick up Passion Rouge. It gives you Deprotect D Shell. We're also going to unlock a lot of the Cactuar stones, and we're also going to end the day by picking up a tablet. Basically, all the tablets you need 3 tablets, and each one we're going to do it by running down, picking it up, and either ending the day or teleporting out, because we don't want to run all the way back. It might be faster to talk to that guy, actually, not just jump over him. But you go to the Outfitters, and now we can't afford Passion Rouge immediately, but we can sell stuff. And you should only sell your medals. You'll have at least 2 bronzed medal and a silvered medal, hopefully an additional medal, but it's not immediately important. And you'll sell your potions. Remember to sell your potions. I keep forgetting, and it actually costs you Gil because you have to lose 2 of them to replace them with Warrior's Potions at the end of the day. Anyway, and now you go pick up Passion Rouge, and we're done. Now you examine that statue, and I skipped twice there because there is like a bunch of text you'd have to click through in order, because it's like, oh, this is how a Cactuar statue works.
That's about all we know. It seems the Order has been trying hard to recover the relic.
And you're basically gonna run north on the right side of this. At least this is what I do. I'm not sure if it's exactly the fastest route. But we're going to go to examine another statue and pick up Gale Strike, which
Yes, the bandits that called this desert home.
will get used
They make a living
before
by
we return to the
taking what
Dead
they can
Dunes,
from the
so we need to
ruins
get it
and
now.
selling their finds.
Are they bandits or grave
Because
robbers?
it's after 4
I don't
a.m.,
know how much
Meonectins
this
will be the only
Clavis is
spawn. Avoid
It can
them.
be used to gather
They're...
souls.
you
Sounds
can't do
pretty
enough
handy
damage to
for a
them right now
savior.
in your current
Yes,
setup.
it's the only artifact of its
Try to
kind
jump
in the
over that.
world.
I always fail that.
If the Order
And
is
then
willing to
examine
spend
that
so many
statue.
resources searching for it, it's probably worth finding.
It's actually faster to just mash through that text instead of cutscene skipping.
Light.
And then
There's
this
something
is
I
the
think
Gale
we should
Strike.
know. Something important. The Savior has to return to the Ark once a day. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to present your RTA to God to slow down the
And now,
destruction
this
of
is
the world.
important. This
No matter
is
where you
D-Faith.
are, no matter what.
If you did not get a medal by this point, you have to pick up this D-Faith. It sells for enough,
You're doing,
but,
you'll be transported
well, I'll
out
pick
here
it up
the
to
Ark
show you.
at
But
6 a.m. sharp.
it's slower to have to go through that item ball animation than it is to pick up a medal on the ground.
Don't forget that, okay?
I mean, it's on the order of seconds, but... I'm actually here later than I normally am, so I hope that I'm not messing this up. Normally I get the 6 o'clock text
They should know
at
something
5.
about the Clavis,
You need to pick up
considering how much
this
time they've spent
Pilgrim's
in the ruins.
Crux.
But be careful if you go in there.
This is like a second opportunity to get soul seeds, but unless it's like right in front of me like that, I just don't bother. Because the thing is that Meonectin is pretty fast, so even if it seems like I have enough time, the time spent stopping and picking up the soul seed sometimes gets me caught in a fight. If you get stuck in a fight with Meonectin,
Able to rest up there.
you'll have to
But it seems like it's the
reset.
bandits' base. They may not
And this is the last statue
Well,
to examine.
considering how they've
Now we're gonna grab the tablet over here while we're here.
I'm sure you know what that means. No need to tie up any loose ends, though. Time stands
When you're
still at this
inside
little
here, you'll
corner of the
fight
Ark.
goblets and gremlins.
your luck just ran out.
Oh my gosh.
Got you now.
Whatever, I'll just fight them. They're weak to fire, or to physicals, so you would want to do physicals. And you stagger them if you attack them when they're doing an attack, but yeah. So, this is not ideal to have to fight them, so. Ideally you don't get hit, but that's the second time I got stuck in a fight. So you examine that Pilgrim's Crux, go through the door, run down here, skip the gremlins again. Okay, good. I still have lots of time.
Light?
I guess I was slow as I was trying to describe things, but pick up the tablet, and that's the last thing we need to do today. And we can end the day faster by starting this fight and escaping immediately to end the day. And that ends day 1. So what's going on, guys? Seems like everything so far is not related. How much have the clock to say in an any
Welcome back,
percent
Lad.
run?
Now step
I'm not
forward
sure
and
what
offer
you're
your
asking.
Radia so we can give time back to the
I think you
world.
asked that. I missed
Pray.
it. How much have the clock to say?
As the world dies around me, I offer this blessing.
So
I haven't told you everything.
Hope
about
wants to
Radia.
talk to you, so we'll ignore him
Come
for
here, I'll
now and
tell you
pick
what
up
you
this
need to
item. This is the last item we'll pick up in the Ark for a long time. But the Liberator gets sold.
This is
Or no,
interesting.
Liberator
The
gets
Tree of
equipped and the
Life.
Juno
It's a
Suspida gets
holy
sold. But skip that dialogue. You have to talk to Hope twice, and you have to talk to him about side quests and main quests. I think it's faster to just cutscene skip it all instead of mashing X to get through it. Mashing X would put you back in the menu, but it doesn't really matter. And once you're done with that, we're gonna buy 2 more Warriors Potions. And that's the last time we're gonna buy stuff until day 10, or day 11. Sorry, last time we're gonna buy stuff with EP until day 11. Or rather, Hope's items. Go to Luxurian South. We're gonna take the train to the Wildlands. I don't know why I typed that in. The question was, do I ignore the clock in the annual percent run, or do I have to be at certain days? Time does not matter. So for day 1, it does sort of matter because I was somewhat tight, but that's because I was running slow. It only really matters if you get stuck in a fight. Really, is the only variance in day 1. In day 3, it is sort of tight, and if you get caught in a fight, you're gonna have to escape. And then day 4 is where it also sort of sucks. I mean, it's not really, the issue is not like in running around, the issue is if you get stuck in a fight, should you escape or should you fight it? And in those periods of time, you probably would have to fight in order to not lose time. But yeah, we're gonna go to the Wildlands now, and we are going to do. We're gonna fight the Chocobo Eater, and then we're gonna start working on recovering the Angel of Valhalla. Most of it will come from the Gasol Greens. We'll get him on his feet more from items that we can quickly pick up through the Canopus farms, but thank you, Aerith. Again, this dialogue you can't press X to mash through. These people will say something as you pass, and then you'll run past.
At the end of the world.
You'll have to head straight to Canopus Farms.
Any of the official scriptures of the order.
You can actually head straight to the Chocobo Eater. You don't have to talk to Dr. Gasol in order to activate the quest, because the Chocobo Eater is already there.
Angel of Valhalla.
But we still have to go to Canopus Farms anyway to pick up
That's what you need to do. Then you have a
Woodland Walker.
Right, a bad-tempered chocobo vet by the name of Dr.
And I
Gasol.
totally ran at those
They said I
wrong
could
angles
find him
though.
in Canopus Farm.
But yeah, you could talk to Dr. Gasol. That's like where the exclamation point is, but you don't have to.
speak to Dr. Gasol of Canopus Farms.
Head to the Outfitters. So like I said, if you had to pick up D-Faith, you'll have to sell it. This is where you would sell it. It sells for 230 gil, which is more than what a bronze medal would sell for, but it doesn't matter because we got our accessory and we're fine. That arrow was an accidental drop because of an extra fight, just to remember. But what you do need to sell is the Juno Suspida. And we're now going to pick up Woodland Walker. Yeah, DLC items for any percent are not allowed because the Uno garb makes the run trivial. So, here is menu number 1. I'll try to explain it as I go, but this is more you're going to have to work on it yourself kind of thing. The idea is we're going to set up our 3 garbs as Velvet Bouncer, Passion Rouge, and Woodland Walker. Garb number 1, your default one, will be Woodland Walker. You can change it immediately to Woodland Walker. It will be a magic garb, so we want to replace Crimson Blitz with Devil's Daughter for higher magic. You'll want to equip the Magician's token for more magic. And for reasons that we'll get into in day 4, you want Arrow Plus to be on top. And sometimes I do funny things like move that thunder down there and add... No, I don't add things there, but the thunder there doesn't matter because you won't use thunder ever. For Dark Muse, which is actually Mist Wizard... No, it is Dark Muse, huh. We are going to replace it with Velvet Bouncer, but... You know, after being down here in the menu, we're currently down here in abilities. We're going to set up the abilities first and work our way up. So we're gonna move attack up to the top because that's where Blitz is gonna go. I moved that Blizzard down there. I don't think you need to do that. But you should equip that Gale Strike. That Gale Strike will be used against Noel and against Caius. But I'm particularly lucky because my Gale Strike comes with Strength plus 80, so that's cool. There's a light guard that should get equipped. I think it gets equipped there. Equip the Fighter's Emblem for extra strength. Replace the Scram SX with the Liberator for more strength. And now we replace this with Velvet Bouncer. So that replaced the attack with Blitz. Mist Wizard is now going to be Passion Rouge. And it doesn't matter what weapon you give it. Well, I mean, I'm not saying in terms of stats. Like Crimson Blitz just is auto-equipped, but it's not going to be our magic garb, so it doesn't really matter. Equipping a guard here is a good idea, so you can guard cancel in all of your garbs. But it doesn't really matter what you stick here because we're not going to use this for staggering just yet, and we're going to replace it with Thundara later. And that's the menu.
All accounts, he's a difficult man to deal with. But no one knows more about chocobos.
Menuing, actually, you can gain a lot of time by just practicing your menuing to the point that it's muscle memory. If you're sitting there trying to think about what to menu, you're wasting time. So that's the philosophy for all runs and RPGs, is get your menuing down to a science instead of sitting there fumbling trying to remember what to do. While each individual menu you would do that would only cost like 20 seconds, in a game that has 40 menus you would lose 8,000 seconds, which is about 14 minutes, so... But yeah, now we're gonna run up to Chocobo Eater. Avoid all enemies. If you get caught, you can actually escape. There's plenty of time today.
It's the white chocobo.
And now Chocobo Eater. Run up and try to preempt him. And now, the secret to this fight. You can stagger him with arrow, arrow, arrow after he does a bite attack. That's all you really need to do to stagger him, is wait for him to bite and then do arrows and you'll stagger. You'll have to throw a warrior's potion at some point. You can do a bite attack randomly in the first 2 or 3. But his third attack... Oh, I misspoke, sorry. But I did get the right time, 800. That's about 14 minutes. I got sidetracked. Yeah, so he's guaranteed to do a bite attack on his third attack. His third attack will always be a swipe and a bite. But he can sometimes do a bite in the first 2, so stay alert. You'll need to inflict D-Protect D-Shell at some point, and you'll need to throw a Warrior's Potion at some point. So, like, you can shift to Passion Rouge. He did a swipe, so do D-Protect D-Shell, and I throw the Warrior's Potion now. It doesn't really matter. I do a Blitz sometimes, just for some extra damage before he staggers. You can do some arrows, but they don't really matter. Third attack is always a bite. And it's important to point out that you don't need to perfect guard any of those. People think that you need to perfect guard to do anything in this game, but this fight you don't need to perfect guard. You can just hold down the guard button and you'll be fine. You just don't want to let him bite you without a guard because you'll stumble and by the time you recover you won't be able to stagger him. But now that he did the bite, I will stagger with this Aurora, and now I'll do blitzes. 2 blitzes, guard cancel, and a different guard. 2 blitzes, yeah. So, get good with guard canceling. I'm gonna start trying to not point out guard canceling as much, but he has a chance of dropping Blizzara and Magnet. This is chance 1 of 2 for a Magnet drop, but this is the only chance for a Blizzara drop, otherwise you'll have to pick it up later. I was so lucky to get Blizzara here, so that worked out. But yeah, that's Chocobo Eater. I mean, most fights are going to go the same way, which is debuffs, guard attacks, magic spells to stagger, throw a potion for buffs at some point. Oh, here's the shiny here. I'm going to explain the shinies here in a second, but yeah, most fights in Lightning Returns, with a few exceptions, are debuffs, guard attacks, spells to stagger, throw a potion for buffs at some point, overclock, blitz abuse, with guard cancels for faster fights.
I'll follow the dock back to Canopus Farms.
Yeah, I'll try to get it on YouTube since people have asked me about that. I might just have Twitch export it to YouTube so it will be uploaded in parts because it doesn't want to export for longer than 2 hours, but it doesn't really matter because this is not a run, but yeah. I'll put it on YouTube since it's been asked. We're going to return to Canopus Farms is what's happening now, and this is the second magic accessory. So grab that and then run over here to activate a cutscene. And we're now going to work on healing the Angel of Valhalla. There are 3 items you can pick up in the Canopus Farms before the Angel of Valhalla is on his feet. After he's on his feet, you can't grab them. So we're going to grab them. And we're going to use them to heal him. But first you have to talk to Dr. Gisal. He's going to give you an obligatory Gisal greens that serves no purpose other than to feed to him in order to start being able to feed him. So, here's the pattern. Go to Sorala, skip the cutscene, get Gisal greens, actual Gisal greens for once. Run back here, feed it to him. Because like there's a delay between when you can feed him stuff, you will want to do this like you don't want to feed all the items at once because there's a delay between you can do it. So that's why I talked to Sorala, grabbed the greens, fed it to him before moving on. When you feed him items from the villagers, Dr. Gisal likes to be an ass and say the villagers suck. But talk to Sorala a second time. Having fed the Gisal greens, you can accept her quest. So I misspoke. You do need to feed the Gisal greens in order to get this quest activated. So do that. Jump over here and talk to this Hunter Chief for his Chocobo. And now we're gonna make a long jog through the woods. I'm not even sure the path I just took was a good one, but you can still find shinies on the ground now. If you found one, or no, if you didn't find one, you picked up a defaith item, and so you're already good on Gil. If you didn't, or no, sorry, no, yeah, so you're already good on Gil, sorry. The purpose of medals now is to have a chance of getting 2 vegetable seeds. If you get 2 vegetable seeds, you can skip having to talk to someone and have to go through the tutorial skip on Libra Notes. I forget exactly what the guy is called, otherwise I would say more than that, but
This is Yogged Woods. The thick, tangled foliage draws monsters who seek
yeah, in the
cover
first
in dark
playthrough you can't
shadows.
upgrade weapons.
There's a village in the center of the woods, home to a band of hunters.
I mean, you could just not pick up items because if you're only getting bronze medals, they're useless at this point.
It's all too easy to become lost in here. Strange vines grow rapidly, covering the paths and blocking the way.
The only items you lose in New Game Plus are key items. Here's some vegetable seeds. Hey there, Savage Monk. If you get stuck in a fight, escape. And depending on if there are enemies around when I try to talk to someone, we might have to manually escape a fight. Or manually force a fight and then escape. But you'll see. This is Cole with his pink glasses. You have to talk to him twice. Second time, hand over forced fertilizer. And there's no indicator that you've done it after you skip the cutscene, so you just have to have faith that you did it. You have to run over here to pick up this, but before we, resume our Chocobo thing, we're going to run a little bit further to unlock Yogged Woods. We need that warp destination later. And now we're going to warp to the Wildlands station. It's faster than trying to run back out. So, we're gonna run to Canopus Farms the second time. And we're gonna start doing fertilizer stuff. There is actually a fourth set of fertilizer you could pick up, but actually there's 2 more sets of fertilizer you can pick up, but you don't need to. So, talk to Sarala, hand over forest fertilizer, complete her quest. Talk to Sarala again, skip her. Hey there, Kurinu. Talk to her twice more to put in the rest of the patches. And now, insert vegetable seeds into all of them. You'll notice Sarala gave us 5 vegetable seeds. That's not enough. We need to buy 2 more. So this is the guy you have to talk to, and it has Libra enemy information tutorial in it, which is why I said picking up 2 vegetable seeds allows us to skip it. Everyone runs on normal because easy is easy, I guess. Yeah, so give the Angel of Valhalla the Chocobo and skip this to ignore Dr. Gasol bitching about his people. Go to the innkeeper and sleep for at least 6 hours in order for the Gasol greens to grow. What you don't want to do is sleep till 5, or especially don't want to sleep till 6. But you also don't want to sleep between midnight and 5, otherwise the Gasol greens won't be active, or the Gasol greens you'll be planting now won't have grown by the time you get back to the spot. So like 20 o'clock is usually what works. Basically 23 o'clock is the latest, and then your current time plus 6 to the next hour would be the earliest. Or 20 o'clock all the time. 20 o'clock master race. So she gave you fuzzy sheep milk that you can give here. And again, Dr. Gasol will bitch about the villagers. Pick up 1 Gasol green. Because lightning bends down when she picks it up, it's actually slower for lightning to grab one, but you do need to grab at least 1. Remember to plant seeds, and then give that Gasol green to your Angel of Valhalla. And cutscene skip, and you'll have completed the Resurrection of Angel of Valhalla quest. So because I am 12 years old, I'm going to show off something. You can name him anything you want. But Oh, there's actually a delay here. This is interesting. But since I'm 12 years old, I'm going to name him this. And then I'm going to go to data log. And I forget exactly where it is. There it is. Caring for your dick. Riding your dick. Fighting with your dick. These are important entries. You can ride upon the back of your dick to move around the wildlands. Actually, it doesn't say that. It only changes the title, but because I'm 12 years old, I get amusement out of this. Regardless, I think I can just get rid of this. And it changes them back. Nope! Still your dick. Alright, we're gonna get rid of that. Actually, no. Better idea. There we go. Ho-P-O-P. There we go. Ride him? Or no. You press L1 to ride in this game, that's right. Ride him. Yeah, we planted the ones, we're good. Head to the general store, actually. I was gonna talk to the innkeeper, but you have to purchase an in-fire potion and an in-thunder potion at some point. I just do it now, but it doesn't really matter. In fire and in thunder, remember that. And now we're gonna sleep till day 3. That is the most necessary step in a speedrun. Yes, I will be posting this on YouTube. 3 people have asked about that now, so yes, it's very official. It will be on YouTube when I'm done. So, yeah, so now we're back at the Ark. This time we're literally doing nothing here, except warping to our previous location. Don't need items. We don't need to buy items from Hope, and we don't need to pick up items on the ground. I forget even what's available on this day, but like you'll notice like the abilities that you normally have, like Arise, Decoy, we don't grab. Cool. How's the tutorial lining up with that? Also, I love that thanks to Sarah's raid yesterday, my viewer count is higher than I'm used to. We're almost at 100, and this isn't a speedrun, which means future speedruns will have more than that. Anyway, you're back here. We're gonna do this game of Gasol green picking and planting one last time. Or, we'll pick them up for this penultimate time. We'll plant for the last time. And then talk to the innkeeper. So 1 o'clock is the absolute latest you can sleep till, but if you want extra time, you can sleep till midnight. But you don't need to. We'll do 1. So now, our last batch of Gasol greens have grown. We should have 6 now, after I pick this up. If you don't have 6, you can't fully heal your Angel of Valhalla. And just to double check, for your sake, 6 Gasol greens. And now we're gonna run to... I forget what it is, Arya Village? We're picking up Beloved's gift to complete a quest that we need to do in order to beat main quest 5. Yeah, we're running to pick up a treasure in the road, and that's the only purpose we're running down here. Some other runner I saw picked this up at the end of a day. I suppose that's something you could do, but this is how I learned it. Like, the time limit in this game, first off, it gives you plenty of time to do everything. But if you're that worried about time, you can use chronostasis, which requires you to farm enemies for EP, which requires you to get better at the battle system. But if you want to freely be able to explore, use chronostasis to freeze time. The time limit should be a non-issue. So here's the item. Beloved's gift. We're now gonna warp to Luxeria North for a second time. Just like the end of day 1 when we were done with Yusnaan, we're gonna warp here. But this time we're now gonna do main quest 1 in its completion.
Light, you should be able to find the code used by the children of Etros somewhere in Luxeria.
The thing with the code is it's 4 digits. The third digit is always 0 though, so you just need to find 3 digits. The first 2 digits we'll find. The first digit is either 1, 2, or 3. And the second one was 4, 5, or 6. This is the second digit actually. It's either 4, 5, or 6. This is clearly a 6. But the 5 actually looks more like a 6 with a hat. And the 4 is... it looks like a 4. But if you get something that looks like a 6 with a hat, that's a 5. Eventually you just get used to what the numbers look like. If you're really unsure, you could just check the number by examining it, but then you have to see a cutscene with Noel for that number, so it takes too long.
In order to infiltrate the children of Etros' rights,
The first digit is here. It's either 1, 2, or 3. That sort of looks like a backwards 3. So that's actually a 2. A 1 is clearly a 1 because it's more just a vertical line, and a 3 is actually pretty clearly a 3. But this backwards 3 is really a 2.
four numbers.
Right. And
So
if
we have
out
2 and
tonight,
6 for our
another girl will
digits.
be sacrificed. I don't want that on
The
my
fourth
conscience.
digit is either 7, 8, or 9.
Hurry. And stay alert for the shadow
That
hunter.
digit is actually near the southern station, but we're not going to run down there because that takes too long. We've eliminated our possibilities down to 3, so we'll just go and guess. And there's no penalty for guessing. If you get it wrong, you have a chance of fighting a dreadnought, but that's if you only want to charge your way through. They're not going to force a dreadnought on you. Anyway, 2 and 6 are the digits, and the last one has to be 7, 8, or 9, so start with 9. That sound means you're wrong, so skip twice. We'll try 8 now. That sound means you're right, so we got it second try. If you really want to be gung-ho with speedrunning this, you wouldn't even bother checking the first 2 digits. You would just guess 1409, and if you're wrong, you would reset the game or something.
Give me
But
the short version.
check the first 2 digits for safety, really.
Got their hands on a working Oracle drive.
Now, you have to be careful you don't get caught in a fight here. You can escape one fight, and
One that the heretics
I'll explain what to do if you get caught in a fight. But
danger light.
the first fight you get caught in, you can escape. Unless it's with, like... So, like,
The Oracle drive should
those large dragon things, I forget what they're called, but they're awful.
As long as I'm still alive, the prophecy will be true. Once I'm dead, the way is clear for the rest of
This area has a high chance of chaos infusions, so you'll have to watch out for, like, spawns.
except they have it all wrong. The prophecy doesn't show
Yep.
you being killed in
So.
Behold the harbinger of destruction. Behold the harbinger of destruction.
We made it through. So now, there is an item here that you have to pick up. The Crest of Etro. It's how we'll be able to unlock the area that gets to Noel. If you forgot it, you can get it by beating, or you can still bust your way through by killing the soldier guarding the door, but we'll get to that. Now we're gonna return to Baird. Zamak, that's right. Thank you. So, this is Baird. This is where our gil is the tightest. This 2000 gil Seed Hunter membership card. If I did not pick up a medal or fight any extra fights, I would be about 110 gil short. So just try to get that. If you only checked one digit and had 9 choices, would it be faster on average? That probably would work out, actually. That is something I probably could do, is not check the second digit, but... We got our Soul Seed Trader thing. You can only buy it from Baird. And we're gonna be done with Luxarian after this day, so you have to buy it by then. We're now gonna go to the Warren. Along the way we're gonna pick up a few items, and I'm not sure that the Essentia 4 notes actually have them, but they might reference equipping them later, which is annoying. You can get into the Warren through the North Station, but I'm gonna take the side path because I'm gonna pick up I forget what the accessory is called, but it reduces physical damage, and then the Thundara ability as well. So here's the accessory. Excuse me. Sorry, I was mistaken. It was the runic ring. It reduces magical damage. And here is Thundara. Thundara is going to get equipped on your Passion Rouge garb. It provides it with a second, or with an option for staggering, and we'll actually use it against Noel.
This area is still tight. A perfect hideout for heretics.
Here is where we would be turning on our Crest of Etro.
Yes.
And then this activates a cutscene. Yeah, the runic ring, you don't have to equip, you don't even have to grab, I just do it to reduce damage in the final fight.
I've spotted Noel. I'm going after him.
Blight, don't be too hasty.
He has to be egging me on, drawing me toward the killing ground. It's like he needs
There
everything
is
to
a
be
weapon we're
perfect,
going to grab here
everything to be just right for
because
the
it's
prophesied
awesome
set
and it provides
Don't make
stagger
light of
power.
this. The prophecy is real enough. The moment you
Battle
die,
Axe of the Believer.
lies with you. You can't
This is an awesome weapon when you have Heavy Slash because it replaces Heavy Slash with with a
Save Noel.
Haste Feeder, Bravery Feeder, or Faith Feeder if your enemy has that equipped. When you climb up this ladder, we'll do the second menu. And to be honest, I forget all the changes in this menu. But I already said that Passion Rouge would get Thundara. If you were lucky enough to get Blizzara from Chocobo Eater, you would equip it here as well. You'll equip the Imp's Crest here, more just because you already have it, so you might as well equip it. And let me try to remember what else. Oh yeah, the Battle Axe of the Believer you'll equip on the Woodland Walker. See, it has stagger power plus 12%, and this garb's more designed to be your staggering garb anyway. So, Battle Axe of the Believer, Imp's Crest, Thundara, and Blizzara if you have it. To my recollection, that's all. Like, you could equip the runic ring, but you don't need to yet. You don't have any of the shields, you don't have any other weapons. So, yeah. So, summary. Battle Axe, Imp's Crest, Thundara, Blizzara.
Wants it or not.
So these, those Terratics have a chance of hitting you. You could choose to fight them if you get hit, or you can escape. You can escape once and be fine, you'll just have to do Crown of Stasis more.
Dead. Or maybe he's just afraid to mess around with destiny. Yeah.
And then Noel. So I'm going to do my best to explain this fight, because when I fight this fight in a speedrun, everyone comments about how they blinked and missed it. There is actually a trick to doing damage against him. He has 2 levels of stagger. We're going to stagger him once. We're going to bring him up to the 2nd stagger point, but we're not actually going to stagger him because it's a launch, which we don't have, but we'll still get a stagger bonus. But I'll explain what's going to happen there in a bit. So again, it's debuffs, guard attack, spells to stagger. You can use arrows, and you can use Thundara for that purpose. Perfect Guard also contributes to stagger if you can time it well, but it's not necessary. Throw a Warrior's Potion and an Thunder Potion at some point. And after the first stagger, 3 Gale Strikes. 3 Gale Strikes, keep that in mind. And then blitzes with an Overclock to kill. So that's the summary of the fight. This is the execution. So,
To make the prophecy come true, you think you have
he
to
protect
kill me.
D shell. Guard his attack. Perfect guard if you can. Arrows. If you can, throw your potions when you're doing the backflip, just because you're not doing anything otherwise. So in Thunder Potion, Thundara, guard. I'll throw the warriors now because he's about to stagger. 2 arrows, he'll probably stagger with it. There we go. Now I said 3 Gale Strikes. Now notice his stagger point is already, like the stagger point for the 2nd stagger is already high. When I do my blitz, it's going to do 3 times base damage. Because when you stagger an enemy, your attack does 3 times damage. That attack does 3 times damage. Your future attacks don't get the 3 times stagger bonus. But because I'm not actually staggering him, I'm just at the point of stagger, all my attacks will do 3 times base damage, and my blitzes are going to wreck him. So blitz, blitz with an overclock, light guard, blitz, 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 light guard, blitz, 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 he's dead. The last thing said stagger, but that's just because I killed him and they just decided to put stagger there. And that's the fight. Can you practice the speedrunning strats from the arc? Not fully, because your stats will be higher when you fight in the arc. Having fought them and killed them, you get the stat boost for beating the main quest. Holy shit, that fight. Even when I try to explain it, everyone is in disbelief of what happened. Yeah, but see, we got strength plus 84, magic plus 70 as the result of beating him, so it's not entirely fair to try to do it from the arc. You can still, like, practice, like, staggering him, but you won't be able to fully, like, have the right stats for dealing damage, so it won't feel the same. But anyway. Yeah. So, there is a shining on the ground. Pick that up. Shadow Hunter is important. And now we're going to teleport to Yogd Village. This is why we ran forward to get that teleport point, was to get here after beating Noel. I love you too, Mina. I love everyone. All 97 of you. Alright, Angel of Valhalla appears behind you after he loads. Give him all of your Gasol greens. You need him fully healed for this next part. Hey there, Mr. Joma, how are you? We broke 100! jump on him, run through here.
Light, I've been measuring your Chocobo's recovery.
And now
He's coming along well.
jump across this gap by holding the jump button, thanks to your fully healed Chocobo.
Twisted rock formations.
If you had to escape from a fight because you got caught, the clock will now be 1 hour later, so it'll now say 5:10. You will have to use chronostasis. You do have 2 EP left over after teleporting, so you can use chronostasis up to twice.
Strange to say,
If you get caught by a Meonectin now, you actually can fight him thanks to D-Protect D-Shell and stronger setups than what you had before, but try not to get hit. Well, I got caught on the wall. So let's see how viable this is to kill him.
Okay, let's do this.
I swore that he was probably more viable to beat, but
Okay, let's do this.
well, let me illustrate what happens if you get caught in one fight. And then we can show like, oh yeah, so you can chronostasis.
your escape just now cost you an hour here in the world.
I don't know why I got caught in 3 extra fights. It's either rust, or I'm bad, or I'm talking and being bad. Where did I get the inspiration to do a Lightning Returns tutorial? Most of my inspiration is to try to get more people running this game, or learning this game, or getting good at this game. Because there are a lot of people who have learned the 13 route in the past several months, and there are several active runners still. There are people who have learned the 13-2 route and are active 13-2 runners, but there are many people that have learned the Lightning Returns route but don't run it anymore, or intended to learn it but never got around to it.
You are truly one of the few people
So, I mean,
who dare travel here.
that's the path through... What is that place even called? I forgot. The Rocky Crag. That's the path through the Rocky Crag you should take. And we're now over here. And that ledge to the left contains our Auto Infrost accessory.
Place. The graveyard for many
End spells are
repetitions.
great, and they remain great in Lightning Returns,
Destruction that
especially in conjunction with Imperil. Even though it's called the Water God Bracelet, it's not in water, because water doesn't exist as an element in 13.2 in Lightning Returns. It's actually Auto Infrost. So, I'm going to show you what path you have to take. So, if you are lucky enough to get a Blizzara, you still need to run over here to get this new warp destination unlocked, because you will be teleporting here once later, and only once. But it is important that you have it here for time save. If you did not get your Blizzara from Chocobo Eater, you would run over here and grab it here. I'm not, because I already have it, but that's so you know.
You need to return to the Ark at 6 every morning, without question. Remember that, Light.
And now we need to head north. That aircraft that's up there is where Saz and Dodge are. We need to talk to him to be able to do some main quest 5 things. We can do some without having to talk to him, but you can't do all. Like, you need to do something through the Canvas of Prayers, but the quest only activates once you talk to Saz. You have to do a fight in the Coliseum, but that fight is only available when you talk to
have to be in the
Saz.
Ark at 6 o'clock every morning to regulate the time distortion.
But you can fight Cactere without
Is this a
talking to
downed
Saz.
airship?
Originally. Now it looks as though it's...
So, Saz talk, blah blah blah. Here's Dodge, failed Dodge.
Hope, you've got to be able to find something about Doc.
I know, Lightning. I was listening to...
When you pick up this item, cutscene skip it right now. so that you don't need to see Lumina. You can think of this as a Lumina skip, even though it's not really.
It's difficult
But
to say what exactly is wrong with Dodge.
it's faster than having to cutscene skip the Lumina
I
cutscene.
detect no mental activity.
And now we're done with day 3, so we're gonna kill time the rest of the day.
If he's in a coma, he's just not in there. I don't even know if the coffer of souls that Lumina gave Saz can really help him.
Try to escape a fight if you can in order to end the day earlier. And when we're done, we're going to teleport to Dead Dunes. Or start of day 4, we're going to teleport to Dead Dunes. So Lightning Returns, as opposed to the other 2 games, doesn't really have that much room for route improvements because the fights are already very fast and there are very few of them. But it's still fun to learn the game just so you could pick up another speed game. Plus it allows you to sort of have more experience with the Lightning Return system. So Dead Dunes. Warp to Dead Dunes. And now we're going to start what I sometimes refer to as Imperil-a-thon. Imperil-a-thon. We're now going to farm Desert Sahagins for Imperil. You need 1 Imperil. When you get that Imperil, you will cherish it. If you get your Imperil immediately, you will love it. If you get your Imperil after 20 minutes, you will hate it and reset. But Imperil is what makes fights faster, and maybe even in the case of Caius, doable, and in the case of the final boss, save 5 minutes alone. So, first step before we even do that, talk to Chocolina. We're gonna get, we're gonna do the key to her heart quest, which is the Beloved's gift item. Since we've talked to Dodge, this quest is now in the canvas of prayers. Doesn't really matter when you do it, I just do it now because it's there. And it gives you like 1 extra magic. Woo!
I think that things are beginning to come into focus.
Head to this cactuar and warp to God's Wrath or near it. And that. And head over to this chaos zone over here.
A smile, huh?
We need to find
Just
Desert
hope we can do
Sahagins.
that again someday.
There's one.
Yeah, I haven't seen Saz.
I'm outside the chaos zone, which is actually fine. So Imperil has a 15% chance of dropping. In chaos, item drops rates double, so it's double 15%, which is 30%. Since I'm outside the chaos, it's 15%, but you also don't have to deal with higher HP and stronger enemies and blah 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 blah. So whatever it is. Stagger him with arrow because he's weaker to arrow, and then blitz to do damage to him once he's unprotected. That's basically what you're gonna do. If he charges at you, a perfect guard immediately staggers. There's a stagger, there's unprotected. You'll run out of ATB when you're not in a chaos zone for reasons I'll explain if I fight in a chaos zone. Alright, there's an item crystal. Is it first try Imperil? No, it's not. Alright, that's fine though, it was outside chaos. So there's 2 different things you could think of doing. When you enter a chaos zone, you immediately spawn an enemy.
The worse the situation,
So you could use that to get enemies faster, and then fight enemies outside the chaos zone in order to get faster Desert Sahagin spawns, because you do have to deal with goblets and gorgonopsids and Gurengachas in addition to Desert Sahagins. Alternatively, you can fight in the Chaos Zone for the 30% chance of imperil, but once you do that, you lose the Chaos Zone and you'll have to manually get enemies to appear. But now that I'm in the Chaos Zone, let's do the Chaos Zone fight. This one is slightly different because you can actually afford to overclock once, because after beating the fight, you'll recharge 1 EP and you only need 5. So, same thing, spell debuffs, arrows the stagger, perfect guard the stagger if he does a charge, blitzes once he's unprotected, overclock when you're out of ATB this time, and that's it. This is he decided to charge it immediately, so I perfect guarded it. And see, like, I have a lot more ATB thanks to overclock. But this game is an ass and gave me nothing. So now I get to show what happens if you don't get imperil. You run around like a chicken with your head cut off. You can overclock there because you only need 5 EP. I have 5 EP right now thanks to overclocking and getting 1 EP. When you fight in the Chaos Zone, you always get like 1 EP from the fight, so you get 1 bonus EP rather.
Get back to where you belong. You can't read me. Get back to where you belong. Eyes to the future.
No drop. Yeah, this is the only place that you get imperil, or rather, Desert to Hagen is your only source of imperil. There is no garb that gives you imperil or imperilga. There is an enemy in the final dungeon that drops imperilga, but it's hard mode, so, and you can't do that until you beat the game once, and this is a new game speedrun, so. Yeah, if imperil appeared in a chest, that would be so much nicer.
No looking back. What's done is done.
Alright, so Desert Sahagin didn't drop an ability, so I can just escape instead of having to kill this guy. You lose an hour, but trust me, you have a lot of time. You have until, I think, 18 o'clock? That's plenty of time. And really, if you're taking this long, you might as well reset, because the variance in your time is literally in how long it takes to get imperil. I mean, when you get good at the game, it's literally how long does it take to get imperil. As opposed to like 13.2, where your variance is based on how long it takes to get Gremlin or Necton, how long it takes to get Kahungus, how the Goblin Fragment fight works out, what other ones? How Academia 400 works for you, how Augusta Tower 200 works for you, whether you get 2 Scarletites from the Pacos twins. Well, 13.2 any percent doesn't deal with Lucky Coin, but yes, Lucky Coin trolls. That's a good point, One Jack. There is an item you can pick up, the Beggar's Beads, in Polta. It takes like 2 items, I think, to pick up, turn around, run back, but that gives you a 50% bonus in item drops, so you'd have a 22.5% chance of Imperil and 45% in a Chaos Infusion. How many Sahagins on average would you say matches the potential time loss? In the ideal world, you would get Imperil on the first try, so really you would just lose time on picking up Pecker speeds, but I don't know, you would have to crunch numbers to see like expected amount of time spent getting Imperil and whatnot. Hey Sev. If you're going for a world record, you should really reset if you didn't get it in the first fight, really. I mean, that's really it. If you just want a good time, then 3 attempts is about decent. If you're insane and you're trying to just stick with this for the purpose of tutorial, you'll go as long as it takes. Alright, he dropped something. Let's hope it was Imperil. Nope. I can get Dispel. Dispel isn't Imperil, though.
Okay, let's do this. We'll be reborn.
24-hour-long tutorial video incoming. Alright, I have to say meow meow choco chow. So every time meow meow choco chow, meow meow choco chow, meow meow choco chow, meow. It worked! Why you can cast Arrow Plus and Aurora? Because that Arrow Plus, the finale gives you Aurora. So why do I sometimes use guard after attacks? Because it cancels the downtime after like the backflip. Like if I do arrow plus Aurora, I would do a backflip. If I do a guard, it cancels like half the backflip. So like here. So like arrow. That's the backflip. Normally I have to wait for lightning to get to that point in order to do the next thing. But if I do arrow, backflip, guard, I'm already done. It cancels half of the backflip animation and allows me to get past it faster. Alright, so once you get the Imperil, we're gonna run over here to get the tablet. You'll have to activate this Cactuar statue because we'll warp here to fight Cactuar later. How are you doing, Ilokraz? This is the second of 3 tablets. It's the same routine as the first, except we're not going to end the day when we're done. We're going to teleport instead. So, oops, press X. So, here, you should teleport to Yusnaan. But if you remember, you're going to have to do a menu before Cyclops anyway, to equip Imperil at the very least. But, well, not even just Imperil. So, Imperil actually goes on the Woodland Walker to split up your debuffs, because if you stick all of your debuffs on this garb, on Passion Rouge, you're going to be out of ATB on this garb as you're trying to inflict debuffs. And if you stick all the staggering abilities on Woodland Walker, you're going to run out of ATB trying to stagger enemies. That's why it's better to not have one garb devoted to debuffs and one garb devoted to staggering. You should split your staggering and debuffing across all 3 garbs for ATB maintenance. Or efficiency, I guess is a better word. But Imperil replaces the Thunder there that was just there from when we equipped the garb. So this garb now has a guard, it has Blizzara, and it has Imperil. Imperil is important, but also important is that Auto Infrost accessory, because the combination of Imperil with an end spell is what makes Blitz even stronger. So Imperil, Deprotect, Infrost, Bravery, and Blitz is going to make a lot of fights faster. There's nothing else to equip. Oh no, there's the Shadow Hunter. You can equip the Shadow Hunter on Passion Rouge. It gives stagger power plus 5%, so it can help with Thundara, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think that's it. It seemed like there wasn't many. We did Shadow Hunter, Imperil, Auto, and Frost. Yeah, those are 3 things. Most of these menus are actually like 3 options, or 3 changes. So yeah, recap. Imperil, Water God Bracelet, Shadow Hunter. So, teleport to Yusnaan. That leaves us with 3 EP. Well, leaves me with 3 EP. If you fight Desert Sahagin in the Chaos Zone and you use an Overclock, you'll have 5 EP. That leaves you with, after you teleport, you'll be left with 2 EP. You'll fight a Cyclops, but you won't use Overclock. That will give you 4 EP. That gives you 2 Overclocks against Snow. Just to explain the EP plan there. So we're in Yusnaan during the day. We're now going to take the sneaking in ticket we bought on day 1 and use it.
If you run, you'll end up being trapped. You need to fight.
So at this point, it doesn't matter if you get stuck in fights, because you have a lot of time. But for the rest of this day, time will be an issue. And I will explain how big of an issue it is and how to mitigate it. So, hold on a second.
Here's my ticket. Good enough?
Damn right it's good enough for me. But can't you read? Showtime starts at 6.
Sorry, my throat's dry, and it got dark in here. Okay. So move time forward to 6 p.m. Be careful if you spawned an enemy, or if you have an enemy by you, because he'll run away if there's an enemy by you. But you can talk to him quickly enough. You can hand over the ticket and open the door.
Per the schedule, the deliveries made from the
So again, time is of importance right now. You can safely escape from 2 fights right now. If you have to escape from a third, you will not be able to meet up with one of the fireworks people to exchange fireworks. The hardest enemies to dodge are the hoplites because they suck. Sometimes they'll see you immediately, will charge you, and even when you're 5 feet away, they'll hit you because they're jerks. But you don't need to pick up anything in this section, so just progress to the Cyclops fight. See? You can escape twice, so this is escape 1.
You escaped from harm, but in the outside world, all of the goods produced by the Foul Sea come first to these warehouses. This is where everything is sorted and accounted for. Then they're distributed throughout Yusnaan, XIII, and other regions.
So the Foul Sea here is the only source of food and materials left for the
I'm
people
being
in the
really
cities.
bad with my sprinting.
Keep going along this path and you'll reach the Augur's Quarter. My sensors are picking up chaos infusions throughout the city.
This is...
If you keep going that
that's
way,
a
you'll end up
shitty area,
Fight to
so...
give people hope.
That's the second escape. If I get stuck in a third fight, I will have to fight it, which is worse than having to escape.
but in the outside,
Ideally, you get stuck in no fights and you never have to escape.
like, this is bad. The chaos keeps on spreading
Worst case, you get stuck in at least 3 fights and have to fight 1.
to the rebels. But why would it?
Chaos feed.
That was almost bad.
Those fireworks signal to the city that a performance is about to begin. Today, like,
And now this is the Cyclops fight. Now remember, we have Imperil, so our debuffs are now going to be Imperil, Deprotect, D-Shell. We're not going to stagger him, but we need to deal enough damage to get him to the charge-up point, which looks scary, but you actually do more damage to him, and you'll actually do enough to kill him thanks to buffs and debuffs. Throw a Warrior's Potion as well at some point. So maybe like
You can't read me.
Imperil, Deprotect, D-Shell, Arrow, Arrow, Aurora, Backflip, Warrior's Potion, Blitz, Guard, Blitz, Blitz, that should have triggered it. If not, just like throw more spells at him. He does Rage. That now makes my attacks do way more damage. And now he's dead. This is your second chance at a Magnet Drop. Your second and final chance at a Magnet Drop, rather. I did not get it, so I will not be able to show off Magnet strats, but I will try to explain them. They make Gremlin faster.
I've run data. People just stored their things here and left them to rot.
It makes the 5 Gremlins in the Coliseum faster. It makes Dryads in Yogg, or in a Moogle Village faster and also easier. And it also makes Cacterra a lot faster.
They must have run into monsters.
Oh yeah, you need to pick up that ID card. No other items worth picking up for the time being.
Good news.
Actually, well no, we'll be picking up more.
To a high-ranking citizen.
So Kate Sith, or no, sorry, that's Schrodinger. Schrodinger is also an annoying person to dodge,
Into a hungry monster.
but he saw me pretty late, so I'm
I
fine.
don't really have to spell out the rest, do I?
It's a broadcast from the Public Safety Office, Yusnaan branch of the Order of Salvation. A warrant has been issued for the arrest of the woman calling herself the Savior.
Who knows what... The door is locked.
Alright, so now we're here. I did 2 escapes, so that was actually good. The speedrun does not include the secret day. We're done with side quests, actually. Well, optional side quests, rather. We're doing stuff for the sake of main quests now.
If you have an ID, you'll be able to walk
Yeah, so
straight
we're gonna
into the
return
through the front gate.
this way.
You
You
should
can
have
run up
the
the side
Augur's
again, but
Quarter
it doesn't really matter because
palace.
you can't talk to people if someone sees you, but you still can interact with that structure, which is strange. There's gonna be a lot of running around right now. But we need to talk to the carnival director. We're gonna max out on bravery potions. We're gonna talk to the fireworks guy. We're gonna pick up the Tithed Faith accessory.
For this plan to work, you'll need help from the theater people.
And then we'll be done in this area. So talk to this guy, because you have to for story. Jump over this ledge and pick up all bravery potions. Max out on braveries. You should have 4. We'll be using 3 in this next segment. Yeah, so now I'm talking to that guy. He has an exclamation point. He must be important. Run up these stairs right here and pick up Tithed Faith. Dang.
Go and gather up all the firepower you can find.
Is it just my imagination, or are you looking forward to this just a little too?
And now we're gonna run all the way back. But we're gonna interact with a fireworks person.
Come back here and report to the boss.
Remember that Gil is no longer an issue at this point, so you don't need to pick up any extra
According
shinies.
to the schedule, the next set of fireworks is going to be launched from near the Cactar statue.
This is a broadcast from the public safety office, Yusnaan branch of the Order of Salvation. A warrant has been issued for the arrest of the woman calling herself the Savior. She is armed and considered extreme. This is a
So exclamation point guy, talk to him, you get fireworks. This is the guy that if you get here late, he'll send off fireworks first. That's only if you escape from 3 or more fights, so don't do that. We're now going to pick up a better strength weapon, the Makwakwo or something. Yeah, the Makwa Huatil is a better strength weapon for Velvet Bouncer. And you should also pick up 2 Infidels, because it gives more ATB speed. If you can't afford that, you can sell the Scaramax and the Devil's Daughter, and then you should have enough. I said Gil was a non-issue, but I think there was one run where for some reason I couldn't afford that, so those weapons are safe to sell. Be sure to talk to this fireworks girl way before the enemies see you, because if they do, you can't talk to her.
The Makote are a legendary race said to live in another realm.
And then get fireworks from this guy. And that gives you all 10. So, I'm not sure that you actually need to do this now. You're gonna come back here and you're gonna do more fights, but you can do the main quest 5 Coliseum fight right now, where you'll fight Xaltis. You should equip the things we just bought actually, so we'll do that first. So Velvet Bouncer gets the Makwa. We put the 2 Infidels on the other 2. You should equip the Tithed Faith, just because it will make Blizzara do more damage. Keep thinking there's something extra, but I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, the Makote dress doesn't get used, but it's awesome. Oops, that's bad. You do want to say yes, because if you say no, you need to go through this silly animation. So, Xaltis, again, debuffs, Blizzara and Thundara to stagger, throw a bravery potion after your first round of like Blizzaras, and blitzes. You don't need to overclock to kill him, but you do need to stagger him. So yeah, debuffs. Bizarras, Bravery, Bendaras. Sometimes he doesn't stagger there, so you could do something extra, but he's staggered there, and he's dead.
You never stood a chance.
Just like when I cutscene skipped after picking up the item after talking to Saz, we're gonna do it here. When you start fading out, do the cutscene skip, and you will never see Lumina. And now, we're going to run all the way back to the fireworks guy, and then we'll talk to the carnival guy who wants us to get a fancy dress, and then we'll come back to the Coliseum. That's what the next 5 minutes will be consisting of.
You need to create as much confusion as possible. Get rid of those guards.
This is a broadcast from the Public Safety Office, Yusnaan branch.
This way, ladies.
A warrant has been issued for the arrest of the woman calling herself the Savior. She is armed and considered extremely weak.
The fireworks boss is at the launch site near the statue.
So yeah, fireworks boss, and then, or nope. No, not that guy. That's not fireworks guy. Fireworks guy. Is my chat about the football game, or is it about my tutorial?
Talk yourself into a role.
Literally no cares about football.
So the director wants you to win at the arena to be in his play.
Easy for you to say.
Light, head to the arena and get yourself a costume. If you don't hurry, you might not make today's finale.
If you want money for your components. You're a pretty girl. The world is ending.
This is a broadcast from the Public Safety Office, Yusnaan branch.
The Gawkers are enjoying your performance. Give him something to get
Click his name and ignore him. No, Kuja's a nice guy. I'm just remarking that like all these messages are about football.
I feel bad for them. The guards are only doing their jobs, but
This is a broadcast from the Public Safety Office.
run wild and get the people to react. If the guards get distracted
Alright.
enough, you might find
So here's where magnet would actually be useful. I forgot to show where you'd equip it. You should equip it on your Midnight Mob, not Midnight Mob if you don't have that yet. Passion Rouge, that's the one. You would equip it on Passion Rouge in place of Guard. And you would use it to lure these gremlins together. Without it, you have to deal with their positioning. It makes this fight faster, but it can also be somewhat worse too, so... This fight and the next one, you don't need to worry about buffs. You don't even need to worry about debuffs in this one. You can wait for them to do a spell, and then you can stagger them with one blitz. Except I'm out of ATB now, so... But then again, he'll die. So there. Magnet is nicer because you can lure them all together instead of like me accidentally killing them one at a time, but... If you blitz when they're doing a spell, the stagger will do 3 times damage and you'll kill them automatically. But it's not a big deal at all.
Brought to you by the
Anubis will do debuffs, but you don't need buffs.
Committee to the Association of Health Potion Wholesalers.
It's another night of monster mayhem! Bloodsport fans, you wanna...
So, debuffs, spells to stagger. And he's down.
Lightning takes the victory! You come to the slaughterhouse to...
Leisure Committee.
You made it through the second round as
Of Health Potion Wholesalers.
And now the next fight is another Xaltis, and it's literally the same fight as before. Debuffs, Blizzara, Bravery Potion, Thundara, maybe another Blizzara to guarantee a stagger,
hesitation.
and then blitzes to kill. That was not another Blizzara, that was my bad. And I did something bad there, but that's fine. I did a light guard instead of... Alright, I guarded with light guard, which brought me below 20 ATB, which was dumb, but...
Lightning takes...
My finishing skill is Blitz. I stagger then Blitz for the win. Yeah, Blitz is what does
I applaud you.
most of my work here. And now I have a Midnight Moth. So right now, with that Midnight Moth, here's the next menu. Are you ready for this? Pay close attention. Replace Woodland Walker with Midnight Moth and carry on your merry way. 10 out of 10 menu. Wood menu again.
It's almost time for the finale.
So if you haven't noticed, my ATB on the lower left has increased from the start of the game. I can dash for longer. The reason for that is that the ATB down there is equal to the ATB of the current garb I have equipped. Doing main quests gives me more ATB, and Midnight Mauve also has a good ATB bonus. Midnight Mauve has max ATB plus 30, which is nice. Kappa. But yeah, Midnight Mauve should be your default garb because it gives you the most ATB, and unless you're doing... Or no, since I didn't get Magnet, I will be doing a brief replacement later. But really, I'm going to be running around in Midnight Mauve for the rest of the game.
They sent up the alarm. Now defeat those guards.
And I'm going to point this out right now. The Phyra that comes with it costs only 21 ATB. The Blizzara and Thundara I have do 25 ATB, but this Phyra does 21, which is sick. So from now on, when you need to stagger, unless I specifically point out otherwise, you will use Phyra. Because 63 ATB is less than 7, wait. Yeah, 63 is less than 75. It's a difference of 4 ATB for each spell, but you're doing 3 spells at a time. So in a chain of spells, you're gaining 12 ATB. Alright, now, for the last time in this run, time is important. I need to kill Snow and get the Moogle fragment before the end of the day, and I only have 3 hours. I will need 1 Chronostasis, but I'm not going to use it right now. I do have an extra EP thanks to, since I had 6 EP when I got the Imperil as opposed to 5. But if you fought in the Chaos Infusion, got Imperil, and you recharged only to 5 EP, you only have 4 right now. Or you should only have 4 right now. Anyway. This is actually a scary part because the Cyclops spawns right there. He has a wide hitbox when he swings, so try to run wide around him. So we're gonna run through the prologue section again, but this time with chaos infusions. You'll run through about 12 or so in your way through. So if you've yet to pick up a chaos seed, now is the time to do so, whenever you get the chance. But remember, you do need to pick up one chaos seed at some point. That's a Scottney that's following me. He's weak to fire. If you get caught in a fight, you have two options. One is to fight it. The other is to escape and then use chronostasis as much as you can. If you get stuck in a Cyclops fight, I think you will have to escape. Xaltis as well, but this is the room where Cyclops or Xaltis can spawn. Be careful.
Crushed under their fear of becoming Seath and cursing our fates. It was only by having each other that we made it through those horrifying
Like, they
days.
appear in the big
We all
rooms.
shared that
The hallways, they never appear in. It's always the small to mid-sized enemies. The Xaltis fight from the prologue will always spawn as Xaltis unless you have an active spawn. Oh, this door's already open. I don't need to activate that switch. Unless you already have an enemy spawned, a Xaltis will spawn. So like, a Xaltis will be right there. Or not. Or right now. See, Xaltis. Chronostasis lasts the equivalent of 1.5 hours in game, for what it's worth. At least I think it's an hour now. No, sorry, it's 45 minutes. So when you lose 1 hour, you would have to do like 2 chronostases to make sure you keep that hour. I'm pretty sure it was 45 minutes, not 1 hour. Yeah, no, these guys are weak that I could just fight. Niblet's weak to fire. So I have that going for me. I did not perfect guard that, so. I am failing spectacularly. Oh well.
Now redemption is
I mean, I could be wrong, but you can look it up, so someone will eventually get the right answer. This is another room where Cyclops or Xaltis can spawn. Are you able to move around freely? You can, but not very fast. So this is the only item you need to pick up that's not the necklace. The heavy guard ability over here. Otherwise, you're gonna have a really bad time against final bosses. So yeah, this is like the path through the dungeon. I mean, I can't really explain it. You can see for yourself what it is. There's only one. That soldier who stops you can buy a Phoenix down from.
The patron.
It's only 30 minutes. That seems really slow, or really low. It looked like I'm running around in circles. I'm making circular paths, but that's because that's the path.
There are still several rooms that we haven't investigated yet. Why don't you check them out? I've managed to pull up a map of the palace, and there's a room ahead that seems promising. It's labeled as Snow's Chambers. Perhaps you can find some clue about that seal. According to the drawings I have of the palace's layout, this should be Snow's room. But
Doesn't look very comfortable, like a cage made to hold some wild beast. Or a cell made for a criminal to waste away in.
why would there be such a room here? Was it meant to hold Snow, or is it to keep someone else prisoner?
But yeah, this is literally just the path. I mean, I don't really know what to say in addition. Jeez. I tried to avoid the gremlin and I hit the gremlin. Good job.
I won't go easy on you. Thanks for waiting.
Oh, that was bad. I was out of ACD.
I won't go easy on you. You never stood a chance.
So, I have to be careful because I've actually lost quite a bit of HP to those extra fights.
There seems to be some
See,
kind
like,
of law.
some enemies are just annoying to dodge.
I think you need to kill the monster to get
There's a chance you'll fight this fight in a chaos zone. Like, there's a chance that a chaos will spawn before you get to this fight. You do have to fight them, and there's a chance you'll fight them in chaos, which is awful. But if you don't, you can just, you know, do whatever.
It's just a fleeting dream. Evil has a price.
Train those fights. I'm kind of rusty on them, which is why I underperformed. But the idea is always debuffs, spells to stagger, blitzes to kill.
It's nearly time to get you back.
And Anubis, if you perfect guard, you can stagger him. But I failed to do that at least twice, so that was bad. But yeah, Sarah's pendant is the item that you need to unlock the door to Snow's chamber. So because I have more than 4 EP, I'm going to do a chronostasis right now. Because I'm going to need to do at least one after this. The strat for Snow. You're going to do an Infire potion and a Bravery potion in addition to debuffs and spells to stagger. But you do have 2 overclocks that you can use.
You're asking me to
So you can use them for the purposes of staggering. Sarah's pendant. So yeah, so Imperil, you protect D shell, guard, whatever. If he starts with repost or counter spell or something, be aware that he'll counter your spell with an attack, but you can guard it because he's slow with that. It's well, the physical was actually different, but yeah. So in fire, and then a bravery, and now I'm gonna overclock because I have enough. And then once he's staggered, just blitz until he's dead. This is an item to pick up that will be used in the final fight. And now, once again, we're going to teleport to Yogg Village. We do this quite frequently. This time we're going to head to the Moogle Village. Yeah, when you don't allow for overclocks, that fight is harder. Oops. I keep wanting to press X because I think it's 13-2. Alright, so note that I have... Well, I expected to have 3 EP, so I guess I probably shouldn't have overclocked, but whatever. I can do 1 overclock in one of these next 3 fights. One of them will almost usually be a single fight, which is easy, but one of them will be 3, and that's hard. I'm talking about Dryads in the Moogle Village, to be clear. They are weak to fire. You're going to kill them, actually, without blitzes for once, but with Pyros. You're going to do Imperil, D-Shell, and then Pyros. When they have Imperil and D-Shell, 3 Pyros will kill. The problem is that Fyra is AoE, and it will hit the allies next to them, and when their HP drops low enough, they will summon reinforcements, and then the fights take ages. These are probably the most annoying enemies to fight, even in casual play. Hey there, Envy Dash. Hey there, Jinker Piff. How are we all doing, guys? This is another place where Magnet would help, because you can use Magnet to bring all 3 of the Dryads close together so that the 3 Fyros will kill them all, as opposed to running out of ATB as you're singling one out and firing. So usually the one on the far left is a singleton. I didn't see where he was and he hit me instead, but he's a single one, so he's easy. Imperil, D-Shell, and 3 Fyros.
This was your finale.
The other 2 will be a bit more fun. So this is 2 Dryads, and they have distance right now, so it's actually good. So I'm going to let my Fyra charge a bit, because I need 63. There we go.
The show is over.
And this is going to be the group of 3 now. I have 1 overclock that I can use. You need to guard their arrows because they're a nuisance. So I'm gonna overclock now because this should hit all 3. No, it did not. There we go. It hit all 3. I did not see any summoning of reinforcements, so that was good. I played it probably a bit more cautiously than you should when you're speedrunning, but you should train those fights so you know what to do. I mean, that's more of a practice thing, but that's the idea of how that fight goes. That's the theory of that fight, I guess. So you need to come up here, cutscene, and then you can talk to Mog, and then Mog runs away, but he actually runs in this direction. You can safely just run here and wait for him. And when he gets the text, you can talk to him, and then you'll get... you'll complete the side quest, but really you're doing this for the Moogle fragment, which is required. And that ends day 4. And from this time forward, time no longer matters.
In half an hour.
So we have that going for us.
Back to the Ark.
So far we've taken down Noel and Snow. Our next target is the one that many people have struggled with in casual play, to the point that they probably just gave up because it was too difficult, or said they were very underleveled even though they did almost everything in the game, or no matter what, they just got completely wrecked. We are going to fight Caius after this commercial break. Kappa. Oh, seriously, where the fuck is this Neonecton?
Don't be alarmed when the teleportation process starts. It can be quite...
Thank you for the follows, Shintoro or Shinkiru. Wormslurm, what the fuck, lol 88? Well, it says WTF, but you know. WTF, lol 88. Kittycots 101, Snowy's Live, Morphisk, Drickle PS3, Yoon 11,
Putting wishes in the mouth
and
of the
Mistress
dead.
Za.
That's pretty
Thank you
cute.
all for the follows.
You survived another day.
So, once again, we're teleporting to Yogg Village. And we're gonna start our ascent up the Wildlands Temple. Alright, so we're once again gonna enter the rocky crag, but this time we're gonna go right instead of left when we reach a fork. The vocalist behind the new Bodum theme passed away. Aww. So yeah, remember that time no longer matters. You can escape any and all extra fights, and I will be doing that a lot in the dungeon because ecto puddings are awful.
Somewhere in this area stands a remote village, which is inhabited by followers of Etro.
So I frequently forget this, but you need to purchase more items now. You need to purchase an arrow potion and a faith potion. An arrow potion is for Parandus, and faith potion is for Chimera on the final dungeon. Parandus is the boss of the Dead Dunes dungeon from day 7+, and Chimera is fought in the final dungeon with Fang. So yeah, other than picking up the items from the shop, this is just literally running up to the dungeon. If there's anything that I should answer, feel free to ask it. I haven't been really doing a good job of paying attention to chat because I've been narrating what I'm doing, but the hope was that if you had questions as I'm going along as to why I'm doing something, or why I don't do something, or something else, you could ask.
Is not the normal kind. That is obvious enough.
Light, are you okay? This great chaos is incredibly dense. My instruments can't handle it. The readings are off the scale. I'm not picking up any signs of other threats. It's just chaos.
Just because you can't detect anything doesn't mean there's nothing
Ah,
lurking
jeez.
inside. In this chaos, I wouldn't trust your sensors to tell you what's going on.
Yes, I'm glad to be over 100. Let's be consistently over 100.
For nothing.
That makes me happy. And it makes me more likely to get partner, I think.
The Sirius you
Someone said I needed to have 100 consistently for partner.
This is no coincidence. She's connected with this chaos.
We read the hidden.
The unseen chaos.
Alright, so 3 items that get picked up here.
This attempt to save
I'm not sure if they're detailed in Essential 4's notes, but pick up this. It's Firaga. We're not picking it up because we're going to use it, we're picking it up because it has a chance of a magic boost. It sometimes could have the passive magic plus 110. Any magic boosts we can get for the final boss would be excellent.
Alright, I guess you can't see what I'm seeing, but there are lights down here. I think someone is trying to...
These are ectoplittings.
I guess
Once they see you, they're going to hit you. Unless you're way past them. But... Hello, David. How are you doing?
Yule, the girl who could see the future, and Caius, her would-be guardian. Caius is here because of you.
She ran it in some...
But why is she here? Is she just
I
a
forget where it
fragment of
was, but for
chaos?
some reason she ran it, and I don't think she ever streamed, like, practice or anything, so I have literally no idea how she learned it. But she put notes on Nev's route online, which is what I learned off of. And now I'm just trying to expand on what's going on. Because the notes don't have, like, everything in them, and they're kind of bare bones, too, so...
Did you hear me talking to someone?
No, I just got no answer when I tried to contact you, so I wondered. I guess it's just the interference.
This wouldn't be a lewd dolphin stream if the chat didn't randomly get lewd in, like, 2
What
seconds.
if someone was controlling the chaos? If that was possible, what would that...
He's not as butch, but he is as butt.
There's no way anyone... Light, are you doing okay?
Hard to imagine what it's like. For millennia, Yules were born into the world over and over. It's not as though they shared the same soul. They weren't the same person in every incarnation. Each Yule was different, but each of her souls was born with the very
Sorry,
same
so far we've only picked up the Firaga.
Each soul
I passed the
returned to
Blizzaga
chaos.
because that would require me to
Strong
jump
as
down
others.
to it and then retrace my
Now,
steps back
they've
up.
become one, a cancerous mass of sorrow.
Alright, I got past
pain,
that one because they saw me
longing.
late.
That's what lives here in this temple. That's what Yule is. She is the
100%
source
of the time he's
the great
weird.
chaos.
The next item is here. It's Eroga. Same as Firaga, it's not going to be directly used, it just has a chance of magic boost.
And in your condition, you won't survive another encounter with him. Try to heal as you go.
They're gonna hit me. They just, when they stretch their arms, they can hit you from across a football field. That and I was out of sprint because I suck at sprint management.
Be careful, Light. You were able to escape for now, but it lost you an hour of the world's time.
Hello there, Deloxy. I don't know about a 13-2 run, because I want to save that for the week, but I might run 13 tomorrow because I have off due to MLK Day.
They are the unseen chaos.
The souls of Yule.
The third item is over here.
Yes. Those
This
poor
also
girls
has a
should
chance
just
of a
die
magic
before
boost.
they could grow old. Their
I think, like,
feelings
I
thought
mean,
became
I think
part
the
of
notes
chaos
just
made
say Firaga
powerful
and
their
Eroga,
purpose.
but that
They're
element
bending it to
is
their will.
less out of the way than Firaga, and it still has the same kind of boost. So if you're gonna pick up 2, you should drop the Firaga and replace it with
Then we obviously can't
Element,
let the
or
Yules go
whatever.
on unchecked.
Now, Caius fight. This is fun. This fight, someone said, is hard. It's not hard. It might be hard to learn what's going on here, but it is actually, once you know what to do, 100% once you get the execution down. The strategy. Imperil, deprotect. When you see deprotect on the screen, pull up the items. So I'll do that. Hold down X for imperil, shift and do deprotect immediately.
No more fate.
And then when you see deprotect items, you're going to use the bravery potion, and when you get out of the items menu, overclock. And when you overclock, you're going to shift to Velvet Bouncer and do 10 Gale Strikes. That will stagger Caius before Mega Flare goes off. So bravery, overclock, Gale Strikes. See, now he's staggered. So that canceled his Mega Flare. He will use Mega Flare after he gets back up. But now, overclock's going to end. We're going to do Blitz, Blitz, Blitz. Shift to a different garb to guard cancel. And then 2 more blitzes, I think. Unless you can do another round. Whenever you run out of ATB, overclock. And for the rest of the fight, you're going to do Blitz, 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 guard cancels with overclock whenever overclock ends. You're just going to spam overclock and blitzes, and you'll kill him before Mega Flare hits you. So we're going to do that.
I won't go easy on you.
There's no end
And he's
to
dead.
battle.
That fight is 100% when you have the execution. As you figure it out, maybe you won't do it as much, but that fight is 100%. There's no RNG. It's literally execution, so if you're failing it, you're doing something wrong. You'll need to figure out what you're doing wrong. Like, one thing you could do wrong is that you're getting to your first overclock too late because you're waiting too long to cast Deprotect, or you're waiting too long to do overclock. If you see Mega Flare before you stagger, he's actually going to, like, Yusnaan himself and cast Veil on himself, which makes it impossible to kill him because you won't be able to do enough damage at that point. Anyway, so that's Caius. Remember to pick up this weapon, Chaos's Revenge. It's going to be the best weapon in the speedrun. And now you're going to teleport to Dead Dunes. Lewd Beast. We're at 5 cubed viewers, guys. 125, 5 cubed. Alright. Now we're going to start Dead Dunes things. Warp to the Grave of the Colossi Shrine, and head to Ruffian. So remember, we've already picked up 2 of the 3 tablets. We currently have 0 cruxes, but that's fine. We'll pick up 2 more in the dungeon. We'll use 1 to get the other tablet, and then we'll use the other to fight Cactuar.
Check the signposts if you don't know which way to go. You're nearly to the settlement now. I'm sure that you're looking forward to a bit of rest. But I wouldn't let your guard down if I were you. I would guess that everyone living there is part. The buildings here are ancient structures.
I'm sorry, no. Well, no, you don't have a crux. Never mind. You don't need the crux to fight Grungach. You have to talk to Adonis twice in order to be able to attempt the trial. The first time he just dismisses you, I guess. The second time you show that you're persistent enough to want to be a part of the Dead Dunes gang.
Get a certain key.
You're gonna go here to activate this, and then you're gonna warp to near God's Wrath. Remember, we warped here earlier to fight Desert Sahagin, but this time we're now going to run the other direction and fight Gurungach. This is in my notes, or my splits listed as Gurunbitch, because Gurungach sometimes sounds like Gurunbitch, and when Gurunbitch sounds like you're a bitch, I found that funny, to the point that I named my split here Gurunbitch, and then the next Gurungach fight I was like, no, you're the bitch. Such bad humor.
This'll be a fun
So, Gurungach is actually really easy to stagger. The secret is to inflict debuffs on him, because every debuff you inflict, if you pay attention to a shell, removes a little bit of his shell, and actually increases the stagger power of your Pyros. So I think the fight should literally be Imperil, D-Protect, D-Shell, Fyra, Guard Cancel, Fyra, and the last Fyra will do like over 120,000 damage and he'll die.
performance. It's just a fleeting dream.
Oops, that was not Fyra. That was 94,000.
My
Close
victory
enough.
was part of the act.
Yeah, Gurungach is like really easy.
Light. It looks like Adonis wasted. The bandit gang's watching you from the very
And
beginning. It seems like
I
they were just
think
waiting for the right time to talk to you.
James Borg timed it and said that it's faster to just run through here than it is to take the teleport back,
It looks like you might still have some challenges ahead of you, Light.
or to teleport to Ruffian. The thing about lightning returns, though, Mills, is that when you don't know what you're doing, it's a struggle. When you know what to do, you need to line up abilities and equipment and buffs and debuffs and stuff, and without knowing how they line up, it's frustrating.
So the boss turned out to be
Like,
someone
13 held your hand
Fang.
through the game, or I should say held your hand, no, that's not true.
You do
It
realize
gradually
that you
built
do
up the
too,
game,
right?
is a better word.
Yet you
Or
sure
better
make it sound
phrase.
like it has nothing
It
to do
gradually
with
built
you.
up the game so you could understand each
Yes,
mechanic
we tried
separately.
together once.
But people complained that was too slow. So by Lightning Returns, they decided, fine, I'll just let you do whatever you want, and you can figure out this game for yourself. So of course everyone complained because they didn't know how to play this game. Anyway, now that we have Fang, we can enter the dungeon. So you have to warp here. I mean, like, again, this is... Watch the path. Oh look, a Desert Sahagin. I should get another Imperil. Hey guys, want another Imperil? I'm kidding.
You escaped from harm, but in the outside world, a whole hour has passed already.
I don't think it's that 75% is the actual number of people that are never happy. It's just that people that don't like the current game will always complain about it, whereas the people that like the game will avoid talking about it. Which is why 13 has this perception of being the most hated, because everyone was quite vocal about that game. But let's remember that 12 was hated when it first came out. I remember those days because I joined in on those days. I mean, I wasn't quite so ignorant, but
It's got something good behind
I
it.
did point out like flaws in 12, and everyone like joined in. But then like
Let's go see what you
nowadays, everyone's like, "Oh, 12 is so good because 13 shows how bad it was." Like, I think maybe like Square's tactic is to release a game that makes the previous game look good or something. I don't know. Anyway. I was told not to bash on games,
Numerous shortcuts
so I'm gonna try not to.
but every last one one seems to be.
So in this dungeon, you have to pay attention to whether you're on an even hour or odd hour, because it affects which doors are open or not. And to be honest, I forget which ones are open on which times, but I know which pair
I took the liberty of
alternate.
checking
Like
the
usually, like
records.
doors have pairs. One is open when the other is closed, and vice versa.
About 13 years ago. It appears they were both being held at the Order's main cathedral in Luxarian. But according to the records, Fang fled the Order shortly after. I'm getting strange readings from within that skeleton statue. If you destroy the statue, you may find treasure. Or find... I've been trying to gather what information I can on these ruins, but it's no good. There are no records left from the time they were built. We don't even know who...
I mean, yeah, I want to see when 15 comes out whether people start saying this is so bad, 13 was so good, or something.
Both space and time.
It's hard to believe that up until 13 years ago, Vanille and I were stuck in that crystal pillar. It was a long
But it doesn't really matter because
It's been hundreds of years since the days
I've
we
learned
first
that
left
people will
Crystal
just
City.
complain about everything, so I'm going to just ignore what people say whenever the game comes out. I've thought about making tutorials for the games. I'm starting with Lightning Returns in order to try to get more Lightning Returns runners. But I can certainly do the other games if this proves to be popular.
Come here and check it out, will you?
I like the support I'm getting from you guys, though. Yeah, like, I haven't said much, but again, this is a lot of running around. Activate this cactuar statue. I skipped one because you don't need it, but you do need to activate that one because you'll warp there later. And you have to activate the door, or examine the door in order to proceed further into the dungeon.
The gate which protects the Clavis is very heavily sealed. It's almost certain that
And the only other thing I said was about the timed doors, but the only
find that crux.
factor they have right now is which one is open when you jump down that one ladder. There's nothing else right now. Skeletons tend to spawn and hit you immediately, but again, time doesn't matter anymore, so you can just escape. Pick up that Pilgrim's Crux.
That crest marks another seal.
This is actually the part where Celestria's notes actually omits all the item pickups. So you're going to have to you're gonna have to like pay attention when I say pick up an item because Celestia omits it. Or Celestia, not Celestia. Essentia. Sorry, Celestia is someone else.
You've nearly reached one of the galleries. You should
To be
find
fair,
it.
I started it,
Be on guard, though.
A good bandit always is.
but I didn't even really say which one was best or worst. I just said that 12 was. I joined in on 12 hate when the game came out, but at this point, yeah, you have to set the tablet. So.
Vanille and Fang.
FF69 is the best.
Why did
Yeah.
they awake now?
So remember to get that crux body at
There are
least.
3 murals, so you'll need to find 3 tablets.
And examine that switch that I
You have
examined.
to raid all 3
I guess.
shrines
I mean,
to find
again,
the
this is
tablets you need.
Of course, we weren't just sleeping away.
well,
our days
kitty
in the
cots.
pillar.
There are people that, in their blind hate for 13, tend to say that 13 soundtrack was boring or forgetful. But anyway, let's stop with the discussion. Let's go back to tutorial. This is Gurengach. Again, in peril, D-protect, D-shell, Fyra, guard cancel, Fyra, and Fang actually helps with staggering, so it happens faster, but
You couldn't imagine how we felt
Again,
while we just watched
with
the
Fang,
world
it's
slowly crumbled apart,
whatever.
unable to do a damn thing. Like a nightmare you couldn't wake up from.
So another item that's not mentioned, because no items are mentioned, pick up this collector catalog. This collector catalog, despite its name, like in 13 and 13.2, it made item drops more likely. In 13, or in Lightning Returns, it makes items last, or buffs from potions last 25% longer. And for as long as we're fighting the final boss, we're going to use all sorts of heroes potions for buffs, we might as well have the collector catalog to minimize the number of potions we need to throw or maximize the utility of them. Pick up that Pilgrim's Crux. That's the second of 2 Pilgrim's Cruxes you need to pick up. There's actually a third one that you could pick up if you forgot one, but not a big deal. I think... Okay. Even hour means we take the short path. If we were on an odd hour, you would actually have to run this way, which is longer and more roundabout, but it still gets you around. It just so happens that on even you can take a shortcut. You would jump down here though, and the hope would be that you're here on an odd hour to get through this door. If you're here early though, you'll have to escape from a fight or wait for the clock to tick. You can actually, you know, like run in this way, but it still doesn't quite work because you still wait for this door. The collector's catalog is an arm... No, not arm. Head accessory. It's a head accessory, so it affects all 3 garbs. And that should be the last door that we have to deal with that's timed. Here's the third Pilgrim's Crux you can pick up if you missed one or sanity. Doesn't take that long to pick up, so...
Not like it's something I can brag about, though.
At least if you forget to pick up one, you don't need to freak out about backtracking or run being over.
No, not even that. There's no amount of atonement that will ever make right all the deaths we caused, all the lives that were destroyed. I know Vanille worries about... Hey, Lightning, you feeling this? The air's different in here. I think we're close. We have to be. This heavy, cold atmosphere. It's got to be the power. Let's see the second.
Oops. So there's like a bunch of small cutscenes that have to be skipped. It's sort of annoying. But remember to pick up the Crux tip. If you forget the Crux tip, you're going to have a bad time. You might be tempted to just think that you're done once you saw that cutscene, but no. And the reason that you might get confused is because now we're going to teleport to Ruffian instead of, you know, backtracking through the dungeon now. We still need to get the 3rd tablet in order to get the 3rd and final part of the Crux. And that's what we're going to do now, is grab the tablet, even though we're not going to get the tip, or not the Crux part, until day 7. But we're gonna, the way we're gonna grab it is it's gonna be on the last part of the day. So we're gonna make sure that the day's about to end when we grab it, and then we can escape from a fight. So you sleep here until 5
You have an hour
to
before you will be
expedite that
transported to the Ark.
process. I think actually that Essentia wanted you to run out here to activate the statue at some point. And then you would just teleport there. But you don't need to do that, because you're running there anyway to get to the tablet, and the only purpose of teleporting would be to grab the tablet. You're worried about the time. The time aspect alone scares you. Well, I've said that time no longer matters for the speedrun. The only time that time is really that tight and it gets a bit stressful is day 4, when you're trying to avoid not getting hit more than twice. Wait, no, I think I qualified that wrong. You're trying to avoid getting hit more than twice because of time, and then after you get into the dungeon you have to not get hit, otherwise you need to do chronostasis. Because literally we're done with dealing with time.
In half an hour, you'll be transported back to the Ark.
If you run out of time, I haven't actually seen what happens, but there is some like notification that the world was destroyed because you ran out of days. But then you get an option of New Game Plus where you keep all of your stuff. It's not a full New Game Plus from when you would like beat the game and have a hard mode option, but you would be able to keep like things you've built up and your stats so far. So this first set of skeletons is actually fake. I mean, like, I can destroy it. Wow. I did not expect that. I was going to say it's the second set that's real, and you can jump over this set to get to the second set that is real. Maybe this is a random set and then the second set is always the skeletons, but interesting. I did not expect this. But anyway, you would just escape. A New Game Plus of this, if you're gonna do New Game Plus, you might as well have max stats. Point blank. Like, if you're gonna do a New Game Plus speedrun, you might as well have max stats and abilities. But good luck getting max stats and abilities. That's only gonna take you about 50,000 hours. Because unless you're gonna run with a maxed Elementa and maybe an Elementaga, because maybe there would be some usage out of that, maybe it's stronger than Elementa. Yeah. And good luck getting Elementaga, a maxed level 5 Elementaga, considering you only get a level 1 from final boss on hard mode. Anyway, we're going to Ruffian. Thank you for the follow, NV Dash. Alright. This day is devoted to killing Cactair. We're gonna warp to the Dry Floodland Shrine, because it's the closest to Cactair. And I can skip this. Good night, Riku. It only takes 300 hours Kappa, yes. You can download a save game. I'm not even aware if there are saves like that, and if there are, they're probably hacked. And why would you want to speedrun on a hacked save? Why do we fight Pirandus instead of Grendel? Because it works out better. I'll try to explain that as I'm doing like days 8 through 10 when I'm sleeping at Nin, but for now I need to discuss Cactair. So if you have Magnet, the strategy is literally Magnet spam. So Magnet, I would say you could equip Overguard on Passion Rouge. Spam Magnet. When you run out of ATB, overclock. You can do 2 overclocks in this fight. Spam Magnet. Whenever he does 1,000 needles, except for the first time because it will be stuck in his hair, guard it. And whenever he does physicals on you, you're going to have to guard it as well because the third one will actually launch you in the air and waste time. But other than that, you would just do Magnet spam to victory. I don't have a Magnet, otherwise I would demonstrate it. But that's fine because I can demonstrate what to do if you don't have Magnet. And what you want to do is put on the Woodland Walker. I was gonna say you might as well move Fyra, but The thing to bear in mind is that Cactera absorbs Blizzard, and he won't absorb 1 HP, he would absorb like 600 HP. So you don't want it to do any accidental blizzards. So might as well just equip Woodland Walker and get rid of the Blizzara for that fight. So Thundara and Aurora are the best ideas if you don't have Magnet, because they're multi-hitting. And I don't think there's really anything else to consider. Yeah, everything else isn't as good. Velvet Bouncer is not going to see any use. Just do arrows and Thundaras. Not Army of One. We don't have Army of One. But I've been told that Army of One is good for Cactera. So I should probably check that out. So yeah, just spam arrow, arrow plus. Nope. And then do Thundara. Everything's gonna do 1 HP of damage. Oh yeah, if you get a Rogud, you're gonna have to defend to prevent launch. But whenever you run out of ATB or when he does attack, I mean, like, you do have 2 overclocks, so use them whenever you want to, but preferably to restore ATB. Like, I'm out of ATB now, so I'll do that. And it doesn't really matter for perfect timing, I'm just like...
Evil has a price. Eyes to the future.
I mean, I could do an overclock now because he's close to dead anyway, so... And that's the fight. Hey, Ace.
You got them, didn't you? The soul fragments for Dodge?
So I fought, yeah, I fought Noel, Snow, and Caius. The last one to fight is the Dead Dunes monster, which is Grendel today, but Paranda's tomorrow. But yeah, you can only use Overclock twice because 3 EP is left, and we're going to use it to teleport to Ruffian. And that ends day 6. Hello there, Umador. Or Mudor. Is there a 100% category for lightning returns? There's a bit of trouble with that because there is not a good definition of 100%. If you want to say all side quests, you have to fail one to get another one, and you can't do last one standing until you've fought enemies in the final dungeon, which is past the point of no return. So you can't do all side quests on a new game. You could theoretically do it in a New Game Plus, but there's also no in-game tracker of if you've done side quests in the previous games, so it's sort of silly-ish. I want to do like my version of side quests with %, which would be to just ignore those 2 side quests and beat the game doing all the other side quests. I want to route that because I think it would be a fun route, but I haven't gotten around to it. Oh. This is cool. Cool. I'll check that out later, not right now as I'm in the middle of the spot, but that's probably going to be more worthy than Essentia's notes for the reasons that I've pointed out during this. And now I'm seeing bunches of people join this because of the link. Anyway, back to this discussion, or back to the tutorial. You need to talk to this soul trader, the soul seed trader. You could have done it the previous day, it doesn't matter. I just do it now out of force of habit. The first conversation you skip and it just introduces herself. Hand over your soul seeds, and then you can hand over your Moogle fragments. So that, oh, I think you also could have skipped that Lumina if I had done it right, but I didn't. Anyway, that finishes day 5, literally. We're going to sleep now in order to recharge EP for Parandus, because that's all that's left is to kill Parandus. Oh, and also to complete Main Quest 5. By getting the by turning in the Moogle fragment, I got the last fragment thing, which enables us to finish Main Quest 5 by talking to Saz, but yeah, my interpretation of side quests, I didn't want to include the Canvas of Prayers because a lot of them require you to fight multitudes of the same enemy repeatedly, and that seemed boring. But I'll revisit it when I'm back in a Lightning Returns mood. I'm currently not in a Lightning Returns mood. I've been more focused on 13 to 160 fragments.
Nice work.
And in the process, I'm still working on 13 any %, or at least keeping that fresh for when I want to return to that. But you could actually return to your previous location here. You can warp to Ruffian, or you can return to your previous location. And I think previous location is closer to the Cactuar statue, but it doesn't really fully matter. Okay, so yeah, so we're here, run to Cactuar statue, and warp to the Sacred Gate. The cool thing about the Cactuar statues is that you can skip them immediately after you select your destination, and it will skip the rest of the animation. I mean, you'll still get a loading screen, but when you teleport, you'll be free to move immediately, as opposed to having to see like Lightning's feet hit the ground or whatever the animation is. Damn it. I fucking suck at sprinting. Insert tablet, receive crux.
The order wishes for this.
And then skip that.
If it might save the souls of those who have died.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Good point, Queso. I totally forgot, and thank you for bringing it back up. After you've beaten Cactuar, put Midnight Mauve back on, if you didn't have Magnet. If you didn't have Magnet, you still have Midnight Mauve. After you beat Cactuar, put Midnight Mauve back on, so you have more ATB again. And stick Blizzara back on, because that's going to be useful for the final boss. And while you're here, stick Chaos's Revenge on the Velvet Bouncer, because that is much better than the Makwa. It gives you 220 more strength. But furthermore, it gives you Quick Stagger, which is more powerful in this game than it was in the previous games, to the point that it's actually useful. And you could equip the Collector Catalog now if you so want to, but it doesn't fully matter. That's the only other item of importance that we've picked up. We picked up a Heavy Guard. You could equip it now, but it won't be used immediately. Collector Catalog at least will get some use in this next fight, because I have seen my bravery wear off. And I don't think there's any other item to equip for the time being, so.
The completed crux should open the Sacred Gate. You've almost made it to the
Yes, I will be highlighting it, and I will be
Be careful.
sending it to YouTube as well. So you'll have options.
Picking up a huge energy source from within the Sacred Gate. It's just like Fang said. The Clavis lies before you. It's close.
So Parandus is fun.
Yeah.
And by fun I mean
No way to go but forward.
slightly less than fun. It's easy. You're actually going to start with the items, because he starts up with his shielding animation, and you can't inflict debuffs, and you actually can't even build stagger. So you're going to start with your Inarrow potion, because it's better than in Frost, and then you're going to throw your Warrior's potion. This is the last Warrior's potion. Remember, we bought this from the Ark on day 2, and it's been sitting in our inventory ever since, and we used up all of our bravery potions between the Snow and Caius and 2 Anubis fights. Or Saltus fights. But yeah, an arrow potion and warrior's potion. After that, you should be able to just cast Pyros. You can't inflict debuffs until after the first stagger. So Fyra, guard, and pay attention to his attacks because he'll do stuff that can interrupt you. So after stagger, you have 3 overclocks at your disposal, so you should be easily able to whittle them down. Inflict, deprotect, de-shell, overclock, and then I'm messing this up, but yeah. The D-shell helps with Fang at least. And he'll die. Yeah, use all 3 overclocks, you'll be at 6 EP, which is just enough. Thank you, VTX Shiva. Yeah, be sure to follow if you like the 13 trilogy, because I frequently stream from those games. This item is the Preda Hood, but you don't need it for the speedrun. For casual, you should pick it up because it's actually... This item, once you teleport away, disappears, but I don't need it. So I'm going to ignore it. And we're going to go to the Wildlands research camp. Remember when I said if you already have Blizzara, you still need to get this warp destination. This is why. Because it sticks you in the Wildlands research camp, but furthermore close to Saz. Ah, jeez. Haha, bad maneuvering. You could have just jumped up that and circumvented all those problems. So.
Hey.
Yeah, so that completes main quest 5. We have all the quests done. We're now going to sleep the rest of the days away. You're mostly a silent lurker. Well, for what it's worth, I have 128 viewers and only about 10 people interacting in chat, so you're not alone. How did the lucky coin luck? Well, I lost the run due to lucky coin, that's how it went. It took me 2.5 hours to get lucky coin. That was 50 minutes longer than my PB, and I was only 30 minutes ahead at that point, so I was 20 minutes behind afterwards. I should have cutscene skipped earlier, I don't know why I didn't. That would have skipped that annoying sleeping animation. So again, we're going to sleep the rest of the days away, but you do have to pay attention to the day. Hope gets heroes potions in his shop starting on day 11, and you're going to buy 8 of them. You're going to buy 4 on day 11, and you're going to buy 4 on day 12. And it's not something that like, oh, I missed it on the first day, I'll just get it the next 2 days. No, they're the last 2 days that you can buy items from Hope, so... I was going to discuss something during this segment because it's just sleep. What was it?
It's that time again.
But the section for the next 3 days, warp to previous location, sleep at inn until 6. What was it?
Require a...
So, Lightning Returns is pretty difficult, and it's especially difficult because you could set up yourself with the worst setup and not really know it. 13 and 13.2, you have all of your abilities that you've ever learned at your disposal. You just need to set up the right roles and paradigms. But even if you don't have a good paradigm deck, you'll at least still be able to do things. Like, if you have a Saboteur in some role, you can still, like, inflict debuffs in that role. It might not be the best, but you can inflict debuffs. In Lightning Returns, if you don't set up any debuffs on any garb, you're not going to be able to inflict debuffs. If you give yourself all level 1 abilities and meanwhile leave this level 5 Heavy Slash in a corner to cry, you're gonna cry. Like I say that 13 and 13.2 is 75% setup and 25% execution, but Lightning Returns is really 90% setup and 10% execution. Or if I want to skew the 100%, it's 90% setup and 40% execution. Because fuck 100%. There's overlap between setup and execution, okay? Oh, geez. Yeah, if you want 13.2 to be made easy, use Chichu and level him up with power. He's cheap to level up with power, and he has the highest DPS because he has the fastest physical attacking speed of most monsters, so. But yeah, like with 13 and 13.2, like, you can get by with inadequate setups. Fights just end up taking longer, versus Lightning Returns, where inadequate setups usually means you die. You make fights a lot harder because you don't have the proper defenses, or you don't have any means of getting rid of this monster's bravery and haste, so you're going to have to tank in each of his attacks, and they're going to do monstrous damage. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, okay, good. A good indicator of when you can buy Heroes Potions is when you have 2 days left. When you have 2 days left, you're on day 10. And I'm on 3 days left, so I'm on day 9. You can also just go to your menu to see what day count you're on. Well, the weapon thing, I mean, 8's weapons weren't mandatory either, just as one example of another game where weapons were minimally used. Certainly like 7 though, like your weapon gave you most of your stats because every time you got to a new town you would just buy new weapons and up all of your stats. Armors would be all of your HP, or not HP, defenses. 9 is probably the same way. 10 actually, no, 10's weapons and accessory was another one that like doesn't matter anymore. You could just use whatever, like, I mean, like 10 you can really get by with initial equipment, honestly. I mean, like, do I really need to equip my strength plus 3% weapon in order to beat Seymour? Anyway, it's now day 10. Or no, day 10? Day 11? It's day 11. I lied, day 11.
Time again.
But that's fine, because I can buy Heroes Potions. Heroes Potions are here, and they cast Bravery, Faith, Vigilance, and Haste. In particular, they cast Faith and Haste. We're done with Velvet Bouncer, by the way, so we're only going to focus on magic. You can't use whatever if you want to beat Penance. Well, the point was story progression. The argument was... Where was it? I missed it. Oh, I scrolled up on this window, that's why. The statement that is claimed was... The thing with 13 and 13.2 is that weapons aren't as mandatory for story progression. Well, it's what Shiva said. So, it's more like he didn't read that. OP. Anyway. There is grinding in Lightning Returns, though. I mean, I didn't do any grinding. But everyone overlooks the fact that you can level up abilities in this game. So, like, if I grinded for Thunders, you know, my base level 1 Thunder has an attack multiplier of 0.5. But if I max out its level, I think it's 0.75 or 0.8 or something. That's essentially, you know, doing 60% more damage. So while I'm not getting direct stat boosts or Crystarium points in this game, I am getting abilities that can be upgraded through synthesis. That being said, in early game, as in pre-New Game Plus, most of your higher powerful abilities come from Garbs. It takes quite a bit of grinding of abilities for your equipable abilities to overpower the Garb-locked abilities. Anyway, that's not necessary to know for the speedrun, that's just a fact. Um, 13's weapons, if you don't upgrade them, then you're only using them for the passive ability. If you upgrade them, then the stat bonuses, especially in early game, overpower like the passives. Like the speedrun, we upgrade the Blazefire Saber and the Vega 42s and the Bladed Lance early, and that provides more stat boosts than the Crystarium can give. But yeah, for casual play, like you would have sufficient Crystarium development that those stat boosts from your weapons aren't going to be as significant. So more Heroes Potions. Oh. I'll just cutscene skip to get out of that menu. That's what I always do, because it's easier.
Really feels like
So you should now have 8 Heroes Potions, a Faith Potion, and a Phoenix Down. The Phoenix Down is just a backup if you die in some fight for some reason. You might not even need to buy it, but you have one extra slot, so you might as well put it there if you want a backup. The Faith Potion is going to be used against Chimera because he has a chance of dispelling your faith. And the fight could even last long enough that your faith would just expire, but we'll explain it. That's the explanation for the recovery items I have. Also, like, some people are very averse to using potions in this game. Just as a public service announcement, don't underestimate potion usage. Like, buffs are very important. X potions are not that important, because if you can end fights in 5 seconds, you'll take no damage. You don't need to heal with potions. Really, your healing should come from restaurants, people don't want to spend gil at restaurants because you spend gil. But really, the gil loss there is negligible. In fact, gil in this game is pretty negligible, except for that brief part at the start of the speedrun. If you want gil, grind cactuars in the Dead Dunes, especially in a Chaos Infusion, and especially on day 13. Alright, so this menu I'm gonna have to remember. Alright, so this item here upgrades 3 of our garbs. The important one is Mist Wizard. Well, I mean, Equilibrium Plus is cool because of its ATB recharge for the other 2 garbs, but... did I have the pressure to finish 13.3 before 13 days in in-game time? I Chronos Dayseed a lot, and I did all main quests by day 3, and then I realized there was nothing left to do. Alright, so here's this menu. Velvet Bouncer, buy. You are now Mist Wizard Plus. It keeps Chaos's Revenge, it keeps Double Cross. Fighter's Emblem gets replaced with Imp's Crest. Thorn of Will stays there for now. This element is going to be our damage dealer. We want to equip whatever magic plus things I have. You'll note I have 0 magic pluses. So I'm not going to equip anything there, because I just need that element. And I'll keep the light guard for guard cancels, but that's it. Passion Rouge. Shadow Hunter, you can replace with Femme Fatale if you so choose. It will extend the duration of debuffs, and we're not going to use this guard for damage anymore, especially now that we lost our magic booster, and especially so because we're now going to equip the Ghostly Hood. It resists, we get massive physical damage resistance at the cost of no strength and magic anymore, but that's fine. Collector Catalog can stay there. Guard gets replaced with Heavy Guard. Keep that Thundara there. Keep this Imperil there. Keep that Blizzara there. I mean, I keep that Guard there. I mean, really no other change there. Auto and Frost is now useless. You can replace it with the Runic Ring if you so choose. But that is all you really need to do. So to recap, Mist Wizard Plus replaces Velvet Bouncer. Imp's Crest replaces Magician's Fighter's Emblem. And you equip whatever magic boosting you can get from abilities. For Passion Rouge, replace the guard with Heavy Guard, and equip the Ghostly Hood, and equip the Femme Fatale if you so choose. I'm not 100% that you would even want to do that because I feel like you get more mileage out of Stagger Power plus 5%. It's up to you though, until I get a definitive answer on that. Midnight Mauve, equip the Runic Ring over Auto and Frost. So reminder that head accessories... No, wait, I said that backwards earlier. These are head accessories, these are arm accessories. Arm accessories affect all 3 garbs. Head accessories only affect the current garb, or the equipped garb. And that's that menu. So... Oh yeah, I can't skip that. Another thing that I should emphasize is that debuffs in this game are especially potent. Imperil has effects even if the enemy's already weak to that spell, because what it does is it adds 50 percentage points to their weakness, or to all elements. So if they take 120% fire damage and you inflict Imperil, now it's 170% fire damage. If they took 300% fire damage and you inflict Imperil, now it's 350% fire damage. Deprotect adds 50 percentage points to whatever physical damage they take. If they take 100% physical damage, now they take 150%. No, sorry, damn. 33% is the number.
The soul song saves no one. The order
Instead of 100, it's now 133%. Instead of 10%, it's now 43%, etc., etc., etc.
Those souls into the future.
I would rather do 4.3 times my base damage than deal with no damage, but whatever. Anyway, this fight, depending on however many magic boosts you have, you'll do less Pyros. I have no magic boosts, so I'm gonna have to do 2 Pyros, I think. But throw your hero's potion. Imperil, D-shell, D-shell. Oh, I did one too many D-shells, and I did one too many Pyros. So you need to, their debuff resistance is you need to inflict 2 imperils, or you need to cast 2 imperils and 2 D-shells in order to inflict imperil and D-shell. So I'll try to do imperil, D-shell, D-shell, Fyra, and then elements. And hopefully the final element kills. If not, I will modify my strategy. It did not, so I would want to do one more Fyra.
Never dance with swords.
I'm lost. Okay, that's where I'm at. It takes a lot of training to figure out where you are in Garbs, and I sometimes get confused myself. But those are the Cathedral Sentries. 2 more fights and then final boss hype. Hey there, Dr. Jacko. How are you doing, sir?
Noel, I promise I won't let your wishes die here. I can't be late. I have to make it.
So this dungeon, I mean, like, I keep saying, like, I can't really say much more, just see the route, but, I wasn't joking when I said Lightning Returns, as opposed to 13 and 13-2, has a lot more running around, fewer fights, and all the fights are trivial except for the last one.
Someone beat me to the party.
Like, yeah. And this dungeon, I guess, like, if you're playing casually, can be confusing, because where do you run? And there are infinitely spawning enemies after me everywhere, what do I do? But it's sort of just a winding path. Like, that's all I did was a winding path. Down, up, down. I'm gonna go up some more, and then I'll be heading right eventually.
The chanting is getting louder. I must be getting close.
It's a practice thing. But we don't have time anymore, so we have that going for us, which is nice. Except, you know, speedrunning, which there's a timer on my screen. But, Chimera. Imperil, D-Protect, D-Shell. Fyra's to stagger. Heavy guard whatever attack he does at you. And when he staggers, spam elements. And then overclock when you're out. You can do 2 overclocks here. Unlike other last ones, or not last ones, and that was the attack that just got rid of my faith. Whenever he does that attack, you will just use your faith potion to restore your faith. Restore your faith. Faith has been restored, young one. And if he loses Imperil, we'll just recast it. He has a chance of dropping abilities that can inflict magic boosts, just FYI. If you see a yellow ability, try to remember to equip. Can you 25% Chimera? What do you mean? If you see a yellow ability, check if it's a magic boost after this next fight. So these sets are almost exactly like Anubis, except when you stagger them, they get dazed instead of unprotected or unshelled. But it's the same process, except instead of blitzes, you're gonna do elements. Just stagger and then spam magic.
It's just a fleeting dream.
So I did not get any magic boosting, so I'm gonna fight Bunavelza at my absolute weakest, which is probably good because then you get to see like how it's done when it's slow. But Bunavelza is the only fight that is really
keep me in line. I don't care if you're
yeah, Element is my new
I'm
blitz.
taking them back. I swear to you.
So there's a small menu here because now Tith Faith is useless, and I want to get Resist Defaith. This item that I picked up on day 1 is finally going to be used. Instead of Thorn of Will, we're going to equip the Mage's Gloves so that I don't get defaithed. The first form of Bunavelza can inflict defaith, which would dispel my faith. That's literally the only use of Mage's Gloves for the first stage of Bunavelza. But Collector Catalog, Runic Ring, and Mage's Gloves are what you need to have. Ghostly Hood on your Passion Rouge, and then Magic Boosters on your other 2. And the weapons are, the Chaos Revenge, Battle Axe, Femme Fatale, Infidel, Double Cross, whatever. Again, if you have any magic boosting, this is where you would equip it, but I don't have any. You could stick Imperil on Passion Rouge, and it would get status ailment duration boosts. At the same time, I would rather have 2 different garbs that can stagger. Blizzara, or Fyra here, Thundara here, and Quick Stagger here. So I'll try to basically summarize what the strategies are. The same idea is to, like, you would want to stagger, but staggering doesn't do that much except for stage 2. Like for stage 1 and 3, or no, sorry, stage 2 and 4 is when staggering matters. Stage 1 and 3, stage 1 you can inflict unprotected. Oh yeah, you should remember to buy Phoenix Downs. Your inventory now should be 3 Phoenix Downs and 7 Heroes Potions. Also, thank you for the host, Rory, I forgot to say. 322, you got 322, nice. I'm assuming it's 322. I'm assuming you didn't fail Academia 500. Anyway. Staggering the first phase gives you unprotected, which doesn't really do anything, but it also makes them stop for like 5 seconds. I'll focus more on Element for the first fight than Fyra, but because I need to manage my ATB, I will throw in Fyra's for the sake of restoring ATB on my Mist Wizard Plus. You'll need to guard Ruinga or grab. Oh shoot, I don't remember what the attack is called, but I'll point it out when I see it. The other attacks you can just tank. The second phase, you will stagger to get unshelled, and you will use 2 overclocks in this phase. You want to save 2 overclocks for phase 4, but you can use 2 overclocks in phase 2. And in that one, each stagger, you'll stagger him twice, and each time you stagger, or it'll be 2 separate staggers, not 2 levels of stagger, but 2 different staggers, and each time he gets staggered, he gets unshelled. And we'll overclock to abuse that. Third phase, stagger gives him dazed, which doesn't last long because it just briefly gives him no damage. And fourth phase, stagger allows you to deal damage. So I tried to briefly summarize and I failed. So I'll just talk about each phase independently now. But like I said, first phase, stagger doesn't do that much other than briefly interrupt him, so I'll focus more on damage dealing. Throw Heroes Potions whenever you revive yourself or whenever you're about to run out. So you can throw like one in peril right now if you so want, but Hero's Potion. Whenever he throws his boomerang, heavy guard it. Giga Graviton is the one I need to also tank. There's the stagger, it gave me unshelled, which is not going to do me anything, but I have that going for me. Debrave does not matter. Oh, I don't need to tank those, right? I'm confused right now. Alright. Alignment Guest needs to be guarded.
We do not accept your rule. Now feel my strength!
Ruinga and give Giga Graviton. My Hero's Potion is going to wear out, so I'll re-throw it now. There's a Boomerang. There's a Ruinga. When he's about to die, you could just focus only on elements and try to keep your Passion Rouge, not Passion Rouge, Midnight Mauve ATB high for the sake of staggering this guy faster. Alright, so phase 2. We're going to focus on staggering more now. First stagger will happen before he chooses an element, so you can just use Fyra for that. When you stagger, he'll get unshelled. Spam elements, and when you run out of ATB, use an overclock and spam elements again. Guard everything though. Yeah, so that will be the first stagger. So let's get to the first stagger. And remember, always remember Imperil and D-Shell whenever you can.
So, this is the true face of God.
And when he's close to stagger, use elements. Because of quick stagger. Oh, I thought there was another one coming. Wings of Destruction now, alright? So that was... Wings of Destruction is what will kill you. You will die here, and you will throw Phoenix down. This is always... this is a scripted... or not scripted. I mean, like, you could circumvent it by destroying the spheres, but that takes too long. So you will die, so throw the Phoenix down. And when you revive, throw the Hero's Potion because you lost your faith and haste. Alright. It's at this point that he chooses an element. You want to use whatever element he's weak to if you can. Here he used... He said Ice Spirit, so he's weak to Fire, which is the best because I'm going to use Fyra. Fyra will deal extra damage, and it also does only 21 ATB instead of 25, so I save ATB as well, which is awesome. That's the best. If he does Fire Spirit, you would rather use Blizzara, which is on the same garb, but it does 25 ATB instead of 21, and it does less damage because it's level 1 instead of level 5. If he does Wind Spirit, you would use Thundara, which is on your Passion Rouge garb, which might not have full ATB because you heavy guarded stuff. But that's okay because you can also use Fyra. Fyra's only bad when he's Fire Spirit. Fyra will still stagger him, it just has less power against Thunder Spirit and Wind Spirit. If he does Thunder Spirit, you have to use Fyra. If he does Wind Spirit, you could use Thundara for a better boost, or Fyra because you're out of ATB on Passion Rouge. If he's Ice Spirit, it's ideal. If he's Fire Spirit, it's less ideal because he would use Blizzara. So yeah, that is to get him staggered again. And when he's unshelled, you will do elements and then overclock element spam, and we'll see how that goes.
Drowning chaos! Now feel my strength! I'm gonna end this! I'm gonna end this!
Alright, so I killed him there. If you don't kill him fast enough, he will start Jerathalic him. Which makes him immune to most attacks, or at least he resists everything. And basically, you're not going to be able to kill him. You're going to see an attack, but you still should stagger him. It's hard to stagger him because his stagger decay is really high, but you can still stagger him, and when you stagger him, you weaken the attack he uses to the point that Heavy Guard, I think, will make you survive, or at least a perfect guard Heavy Guard will do 0 damage. If you don't stagger him, he will kill you, and you'll have to Phoenix down, but you can still then like deal with that. These 2 other Phoenix downs are for emergencies if you die, of course. Just FYI. Alright, so that was Phase 2. Phase 3. He gradually builds more and more buffs. And he does gradually more attacks per chain. He starts off with only 1 attack. You want to tank every attack that he uses. The only thing that you can mess up, though, is if you don't realize how many he's using in a combo. He'll eventually start using 2, and I think that's when he has 2 buffs or 1 buff. And he'll use 3 attacks when he has either 2 or 3 buffs. I forget exactly. But there's that. And there's 1 attack that you can actually easily perfect guard because the timing is not that bad. The other ones you can just hold down Heavy Guard. But staggering, again, because it just inflicts daze, isn't that useful. So you could just focus on elements for this fight and Fyras when you are trying to recharge ATB. But that's the idea here. Like, that's the boomerang attack, but he's only doing 1 because it's phase 1. Divine Punishment you can perfect guard and reduce damage, or do 0 damage from it. If you just heavy guard it, you'll take damage. Less than if you didn't heavy guard, but it still is some positive number. Almagest, you have to guard. And actually the reason that I want you to equip the Ghostly Hood is to lower the damage. Maybe not of that attack, I forget if that's physical or magical, but I'll point out when he does boomerang attacks, when bad things can happen. He should be doing 2 attacks now, I think. Yeah, 2 attacks.
This is your grave.
Divine Punishment, I did not perfect guard. Or no, I wasn't in the right garb. I got confused.
This is your grave. The chaos will be your grave.
Should be 2 attacks. He should stagger because of quick stagger.
We cannot give up.
Ultima is something you have to perfect guard this in order to. Or no, you could just heavy guard and you'll take a lot of damage. If you perfect guard, it won't do damage. I just don't know what the Q is for heavy guard. Like, that's if you just tank it, it does like half damage. Or does half max HP-ish. But I have Elite HP now. So now with that final buff, he should start doing 3 attacks on a chain, so you have to be really careful. So that's 1. That's 2, that perfect guarded, and that's 3. Like, you might as well only focus on elements at that part, because he's going to do 3 attacks. Or he did 2, though, because he wants to screw with my logic. That should kill him, though. Nope. Alright. That's phase 3. If he spams Ultima, it can be pretty bad, but... And if... Oh. Yeah, so the reason that I want the Ghostly Hood is because if you don't guard... Like, it gets hard if you don't guard his attacks. Because if he does his physical, he'll launch you in the air, and then you can never guard. Because you'll just be in midair for the rest of the attack. And if he does his physicals on you and you don't have the Ghostly Hood, that will do full damage and you'll basically die. So the Ghostly Hood is more of a fail-safe. If you get launched in the air due to physical, it will do less damage. Yeah, so I kind of lied when I said it's not that bad. It's more just if you get launched and interrupted, then you'll die. So don't get launched and interrupted in that phase. Phase 4, we're going to try to spam Fyra to stagger. Once you stagger him, he stops attacking. You can then inflict debuffs, and he takes like 5 times base damage all over. Yeah, so we need to get to stagger, and we have 2 overclocks that we are going to utilize for that purpose. So we're going to empty our ATB gauge of Fyros. He's going to do 1 attack in between. It's usually the laser attack. If it's something else, be careful. If it's Elementiga, you might die. So yeah, so spam Fyros. Divine Efflux. He can do 1, he can do 3. He did 2. And whenever he gets to red, do quick stagger. Elementiga is bad. I'll probably die. Shit. Or I can perfect guard it out of nowhere. Out of fucking nowhere. Alright, he's in red, so an elemental will stagger him. Or I can stagger him before element even gets there. So once he's staggered, you've won. Except you need to throw hero's potions. Alright, you haven't won just yet. You need the faith and you need the haste in order to be able to do things. My gosh. Why am I so confused?
We do not accept your rule. Drowning chaos! This is your grave!
You should die to this. There we go. And that's the fight. So I tried to read chat as I was going along, but I probably missed some things. Alright, so that's the speedrun. Yeah, that's literally it. I mean, there's nothing more after this. Oh, shoot, I forgot to say. Timing ends when the last star gets filled. So timing starts from console on, and it ends when the last star gets filled. On PC, it will probably be different because, you know, how do you time from system on for a PC? But for PC, you would just start from new game in that case. But yeah, that's the speedrun. Hope you guys got stuff out of this. And if you have any questions on what to do, you can still like message me through either Twitch or YouTube or some other medium. DLC is not allowed, and they would be of supreme help because of the Unigarb. But yeah, I'm doing this just to show clear time. Hours played, 3 hours, 32 minutes, 5 seconds. That's probably because I paused at every interval.